Good afternoon, welcome to the Seat Unique Stadium, and yes, it is as warm as that picture makes the scene look. We're ready for Gloucestershire against Middlesex in the T20. This is Ian Randall, with me as ever my esteemed colleague Mr Dan Whiting.
Afternoon, Ian. Not a cloud in the sky. And what lovely, lovely day for it as well.
Yeah, and this isn't the first cricket we've had here today either. The Western Storm had a 7-wicket win over the Central Sparks in a game played earlier today on the same pitch that we're going to use for this afternoon's T20 clash. It's the family day at Bristol, and there are a lot of youngsters in earlier on watching the Western Storm game. Some of our four-legged friends were here as well, although Benny the Labrador is not here today, we gather. A great shame for his fan club.
I gather one was barking at Alfred the Gorilla.
And one was barking at Alfred the Gorilla, yes. He didn't like the visual of the gorilla head, and he was very unhappy about that, but hopefully he'll be a bit happier when he gets a bit of shade, nice bowl of water, and he can watch the cricket this afternoon. Promises to be an interesting reverse fixture from the one at Merchant Taylors. We know that Dan watched and of course had this extraordinary finish where you would not expect the side chasing with only 7 needed in the last over to lose, but that's what happened.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to give credit to the bowler, and Matt Taylor I thought was absolutely outstanding in that final over there. He was absolutely outstanding in the final over against Surrey here on Friday night. He only went for 1 off that 20th over, and to do that at the death is a real skill, isn't it?
It is, and we talk about death bowling, if you like. The first person who really revolutionised death bowling at Gloucestershire was Ian Harvey, and from then on there's always the comparison of other death bowlers with the way that Harvey used to mix things up. But let's go from the early 2000s to today, and the team news for the two sides for today. Let's start with Gloucestershire. They named 14, but they have stuck with the same 11 that played against Surrey. So that doesn't mean that Chris Dent gets in. It doesn't mean that Josh Shaw, Azum and Akhtar also play. But it does mean that Matt Taylor will make his 50th T20 appearance for Gloucestershire today. So the side is Grant Roloffson, Ben Charlesworth, who we'll hear from shortly, Miles Hammond, Ollie Price, James Bracey, Jack Taylor, Zafar Gahar, Danny Lamb, on loan from Lancashire of course, Matt Taylor, Tom Smith and David Payne. As far as we are aware, Lamb's loan is up until the end of the Leicestershire game in the Championship. We'll be with you for that starting a week today, obviously. But he can play today, he can play against Somerset next Friday, and he can play in that 4-day game, which begins a week today. Now, Middlesex are the strongest team in the league. They're propping up everybody else.
Well, yeah, they're going to be led by Stevie Eskenazi, and he'll open up with Joe Cracknell, who's had a very good tournament. He's a hard-hitting batsman, and he took one of the best catches I have ever seen at Merchant Taylor's the other day. Max Holden, Jack Davis, Luke Holman, Ryan Higgins makes a return here back to Bristol, very popular amongst the crowd here. Tilan Walalawita, Blake Cullen, Peter Milan, Josh De Caires comes in, and Tom Helm. So Middlesex will be looking to kickstart their season, get off the mark here, and they do need a win, don't they?
They do. They're right at the bottom. So the news of the toss then, which obviously took place at 2 o'clock today out in the middle, and Gloucestershire until that Surrey game were defending every time. They chased against Surrey, and they are going to chase again today. Jack Taylor has won the toss and he's decided to field first. So that's the important news from the middle. What about one of the players of the tournament so far? He's got 2 50s in only 4 games. He's top of the batting averages. And before the cricket got underway today, Rob Scanlon spoke to Ben Charlesworth.
Getting underway in a little over 45 minutes time. I'm delighted to say I'm joined in the home dugout by Ben Charlesworth, Gloucestershire batter, proudly sponsoring the hashtag HerGame2 warm-up t-shirts. We're celebrating a year's anniversary of that today on Family Day here at the Seat Unique Stadium. And Ben, you were just saying to me that you've got a few family members in today.
Yeah, it's my big brother's 39th birthday today, so yeah, he's down with the family, so yeah, I was actually just saying to the lads as well, it's nice to have an afternoon game and see a few more families in the crowd. So, yeah, it should be a good day.
I think he was briefly happy with that 29th shout, but you've corrected it. In terms of yourself, still very young, and, you know, you've really burst onto the T20 scene in the last few weeks. How much have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, no, it's been really exciting for myself. The opportunity came a couple of weeks ago now, quite unexpectedly, and you know, I was delighted to take that opportunity. And yeah, I'm just loving being around the boys and being in this environment. So yeah.
Fastest T20 half century for the county. I mean, that's some going. Were you aware of the record?
I had absolutely no idea. No, it all came as quite a shock to me. It all happened very quickly. But yeah, hopefully I can recreate something similar today.
How big was that win on Friday night? Great atmosphere down here at the Seat Unique. Surrey, we know what they're all about, but you won by 2 wickets. It was narrow, but it was a thrilling night.
Yeah, it was actually a really important game for us. We needed to get the win. I think 2 from 5 looks a lot better than 1 from 5. So yeah, really happy to get over the line there against a very strong Surrey team. So yeah, hopefully that propels us forward now.
Is it a different dynamic today with Middlesex, unfortunately, propping up the table for them? They haven't picked up a win so far, so you come into this game as...
So Ben Charlesworth there in conversation with Rob Scanlon ahead of the cricket today. I mean, I was watching the chase from the Western Storm game a little earlier, Dan, and one or two supporters were going up to me and saying it looks as if Hampshire and Somerset are going to run away with this group. And I wonder whether, for those in the middle of the table trying to get into the top 4, that may be no bad thing. If they keep winning, other than the fact they've got to play Gloucestershire 4 times between them.
Yes.
If they keep winning, it might free up 2 spaces further down for somebody with a lower points total.
Yeah, it may well do, but Somerset have to come here on Friday night. They don't like coming to Bristol, and it's going to be a sellout here. The atmosphere will be red hot, and I can't wait for that one. Ben Charlesworth there. Since he's come back into the side after his injury last year, he got injured in the first game against Northamptonshire. He's got 7 50s in his last 13 games, including Middlesex fans will remember in the Royal London Cup at Radlett last year, he got a really good 97, which ultimately won Gloucestershire the game. And I thought I was privileged to watch that knock, and it was a thing of beauty, Ian.
And he is showing that he is not just a very patient, careful chooser of shots in longer format cricket. He has shown that there is an element to his game where he can free himself up a bit.
He's got an all-round game. He can play the 4-day stuff where he's watchful and he can grind out an innings. He can also give it a biff in T20. He can bowl. He's a wonderful fielder, either in the covers or at short leg. I mean, he's got so many sort of different aspects to his game, and I think he's a wonderful cricketer, and he's really maturing as a lad, and it's great to see him enjoying his cricket as well.
Oh, I mean, that I think is coming through in interviews that he's doing after getting a half century or 2 as he's done so far in this competition. If he feels that he is contributing to the team, he's going to be more relaxed in front of a camera or a microphone. There's nothing worse, I would think, than being told or hearing that people rate your ability and your potential, but it's not transmitting itself. You feel a certain tension that you've got to get a score before you can start feeling a bit more comfortable in front of the media.
Yeah, and I also think the next thing for Charlesworth is to get that first 100 under his belt, and then he'll kick on. And I think once he does that, I think he's got the ability, I think he's got the talent, and I think he's got the mental fortitude to actually score big and become a really good player.
Talking of hundreds, Middlesex have been short of runs in just about every competition so far this season. They haven't seen any of their batters make a championship 100. So how deep is that Middlesex batting order today? If we're told that Luke Holman will bat at 7 with Ryan Higgins at 6, so I suppose they'll be leaning heavily on Eskenazi, Cracknell and Milan, won't they?
Yeah, they will, who are all good players, will give it a big, just like to free their arms, shall we say. But Luke Holman, I thought, batted very well. He batted at 5 last week for Middlesex. I thought he batted very well at Merchant Taylors. So it's interesting to see how they're going to go. Josh DeCaires comes in to bolster the batting as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Middlesex go about this, and changes are necessary. One thing that I was quite surprised about was having no John Simpson in this side. I think he's a world-class wicket keeper, and he's obviously very strong in white ball cricket. He's had contracts in the 100 in the last few years, so eyebrows were raised there, and I'm sure they are amongst Middlesex fans having no John Simpson.
Because he can also contribute runs as well. So Jack Davis, just a bit of background, he's 23 years old. All right, he averages 20 in this tournament, but as a whole in his career, but it's a fairly small sample size. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have the experience of Simpson? Would you have the raw talent of someone like Davis?
Well, Simpson 1,000 runs in the county championship last year as Middlesex got promoted out of Division 2, and red ball, white ball, class is permanent, whatever style of cricket it is. Anyway, here come the umpires, and we have got a little bit of history being made here, because Sue Redfern is going to lead the sides out to the middle, along with Alex Wharf leading Jack Taylor and the troops out to the middle.
Yeah, nice to see Sue Redfern standing here today. She did 1 or 2 interviews for the written press during the week about how proud she would be, and in a sense, what a joy to have a glorious day to do it on. You're not going to have any issues over reduced overs, rain delays, all those sorts of things that umpires absolutely loathe. And here Gloucestershire have got the tactics of the game as they want, and indeed as they were in this corresponding fixture last year, when Benny Howell, now of course at Hampshire and injured too, I believe, hit the winning runs in the last over, down to what my colleague, our lovely friend Ed Seaborn, has called Michael Klinger Corner here at the Seat Unique Stadium. And that, just for those of you watching at home, that corner is at the Ashley Down Road end of the ground on the Kennington Avenue side. It's that rather shorter boundary at the end of the ground where we're doing the commentary from today, Ashley Down Road end. And David Payne will open up.
Yeah, fresh off the back of a Big Bash win, and I think he's been superb in this tournament. Payne and Matt Taylor have been excellent.
So Payne to open to Eskenazi, and that's wide outside the off stump. And Sue Redfern's first task is to indicate to the scorers in the pavilion at the far end of the ground a wide off the first ball. So a slip in for Payne in this first over. He's looked, close to his old self, having missed the opening 6 rounds of Championship cricket and come back in for the tournament. Payne again, Eskenazi pushes that out into the offside. He'll beat the inner ring and out to Zafar Gahar, who will throw it in on the bounce to James Bracey. I suspect that the crowd will not be quite as raucous, as they might be on a Friday night in a Sunday afternoon game, and also in this first half, because Gloucestershire are fielding. Generally, if they're batting, you get a applause or a cheer for every scoring stroke, but there won't be that here. Payne in again, Cracknell to face, and that's just bumped out to point.
Cracknell's a good player in this format. He's one of the North Middlesex protégés who've made up the fabric of this Middlesex side, along with Ethan Bamber, Luke Holman and Max Harris. So great things are happening down in Crouch End at that club.
He's almost exclusively playing in white ball cricket. That's just flicked off his hip, and the throw hits the stumps from Matt Taylor, from Ben Charlesworth rather, but Eskenazi safely home. Charlesworth is on the single at short fine leg. So both batsmen off the mark, and Middlesex have had some modest totals to defend this season so far. Payne in, and there's an inside edge there, and Sue Redfern raises the finger. First wicket down, Eskenazi goes. That's a big wicket for Gloucestershire, a comfortable catch for James Bracey. He clearly heard that inside edge, and Middlesex, who only got 136 at Taunton on Friday, see one of their main run getters out in the first over.
Yeah, dangerous customer, Stevie Eskenazi. He demolished Gloucestershire in the first T20 game of the season away at Radlett last year, and I remember he got 100 against Essex as well the year before at Lords in what was a real thriller there, where Essex won off the last ball, having spooned one over the top of short third man, which ran away down towards the tavern, sort of where it meets the pavilion at Lords. But yeah, I mean, Stevie Eskenazi is probably the main man, and Gloucestershire has struck early.
David Payne's 9th wicket in the tournament already. He's the leading wicket taker for Gloucestershire, and South African Peter Malan comes in at number 3. Payne to bowl to him, and into the ground. Payne fields off his own bowling. Just to show what a humble individual he is, David Payne was helping to carry with one of the staff from the club the base of an umbrella round to one of the marquees at about 11:45 today. Here is Payne in, that's slapped away by Cracknell straight to Zafar Gahar at deep point. He may be playing in the game later on, but he was not too big to say, I don't mind helping if somebody wants a job doing. That's just how he is. End of the first over, and Middlesex, having lost Eskenazi, are 4 for 1.
Yeah, Peter Malan came through a number of Lancashire League clubs. I think he played for Nelson Rishton, where Viv Richards had a little spell at in the 1980s. Colne, and then He got 1,000 runs in the Northern League for Barrow up in Cumbria, then returned back to the Lancashire League, played at Ramsbottom Cricket Club, which is the home of John Simpson, and he's a very wristy player, easy on the eye. Played 3 tests for South Africa against England, made 5 and 84 on debut. Also played for Warwickshire, and he's averaging 38 in T20, which is reasonable numbers. Anyway, here's Matt Taylor, going to take us away from the pavilion end, and Milan there wristily works it into the onside for a single.
So Dan, on Friday, 124, I think it was to be precise, was all that Surrey could manage. The Sparks got 135 on this pitch. Middlesex get to 160. They're in the game, aren't they?
Massively. I mean, the outfield's lightning here in Bristol. But yeah, I mean, I think this could be 130. You could be in the game. Anyway, here's Taylor in, and that's not timed there from Cracknell, who just plays it into the onside. Joe Cracknell sung for the Pope, Ian. Do you know that?
Did he?
Yes, yeah.
When was that?
When he was a child, I believe. I've got it. My sources tell me.
Oh, yeah.
So my sources tell me.
You got good sources.
Matt Taylor. And that's whacked, only finds mid-on, where Jack Taylor does the fielding. Gloucestershire will be looking, though, to win this one, and if they do, that'll be 3 out of 4 in the lead up to Somerset here on Friday night. And Somerset don't like coming to Bristol, do they?
They've had an indifferent record here, shall we say. To be fair, we've also had an indifferent record on weather, but I think that's not going to hold this week.
Taylor left arm over the wicket, and then plays that into the offside. That's a great bit of fielding there. There's Jack Taylor down there.
I'll take 2, but he'd probably save 2 more.
Yeah, once the ball's past the field here, I think it's 4 runs.
Yeah, the boundary's a little bit shorter than I might have thought, but the pitch is very central, so there could be quite a lot of 2s run here today, but you've still got the short boundary down towards the Kennington Avenue corner.
Taylor comes in past Alex Wharf, and that's gone up in the air. Oh, that's not a million miles away from Jack Taylor. They think about a second, but turned down as the throw comes into James Bracey. No Chris Dent in the Gloucestershire side again?
No, I thought was it one of the away games where I think it wasn't one that was being televised, but I heard that he was fielding with a protector on one of his fingers. So I wonder if that's a bit sore and he's being sort of nursed because of that.
Taylor in, that almost sneaks through the defences there of Cracknell, and that completes the second over. 9 for 1. Cracknell is on 2, Peter Milan on 5.
And Matt Taylor, speaking after the game on Friday, said he thought the pitch was a little bit too paced. So it might be that it's not going to be that easy to score runs fluently on here. And a bowling change for Gloucestershire with David Payne having just bowled 1 over. We're going to see Danny Lamb into the attack early here from the Ashley Down Road end. Zafakar coming up to the edge of the circle on the offside. So Lamb doesn't actually have any cover as a sweeper on the offside at this stage. The slip's gone. He's got 5 saving a single, and that's tossed up, and it's gone. I say it's tossed up. It almost was a loose one. It's gone straight down the ground from Milan for 4. That was quite gentle, or certainly looked it from our vantage point high up in the apartments, and Lamb perhaps trying to bowl it almost out of the back of the hand there, and Milan read it, and Middlesex have their first boundary in the 3rd over.
Grant Rolofson there doing the fielding. I caught up with him at Merchant Taylor's last week, loving life in Bristol.
He's at mid-on. Milan wants a shorter ball from Lamb, and that's pulled. That's 4 more. So having overpitched the first one, the second one is dropped a bit too short, and Milan quickly onto it. And as you say, Dan, his numbers in T20 are good. He has made 100 in this format, and he's got a dozen half centuries to his name as well. So he'll be conscious that a lot of the responsibility will be on him, with Eskenazi already out. It's a full toss from Lamb. What does Sue Redfern think about that as an LBW? She turns it down. And they've scampered through for a leg by. There was nothing on the bat.
Let's have a look at this again.
What's that going down the leg side? Perhaps have a look at that at the end of the over. Sorry, Dan, you were going to say something.
Yeah, hits him on the full there. I think this wicket is coming on a lot more than it was on Friday night. Even from sort of initial observations after a couple of overs, it looks like there's a little bit more pace in it.
Lamb, this quite straight approach. Again, that's down the leg side, and Sue Redfern will again call that as a wide. So a couple of wides already from the Gloucestershire bowlers in these first 3 overs. Lamb now does have a man back at deep square. Past umpire Redfern again, with something slower ball, so it's clipped straight to Rolofson at mid-on.
Joe Cracknell, Durham University lad, where Tom and Ollie Price have both studied. Produced so many good cricketers over the years.
And that is now past tense, isn't it? Because I think they're both through. Ollie is now through his last of his papers, I think. Lamb down the leg side again. There'll be another wide. Directionally, you can almost try too hard at times, can't you?
Yeah, I think what he's doing is he's trying not to give Cracknell and Milan too much room to swing their arms outside the off stump, so he's trying to sort of bowl it into the pads and not give them that room, and he's just over-erring a little bit.
Again, and that's whipped away in the air and pouched at deep backward square. That's Ollie Price out there. He's taken an excellent catch. Cracknell slaps his pad with his bat. He knew that was a poor selection of shot. He needed to be either playing almost with a sand wedge or really getting the 2-iron out, and he got caught between 2 stools, and he is furious. And it's another important wicket. It's been an expensive over this from Danny Lamb, but he's got a W in it, and that's the important part.
Yeah, he picked the only man out there in a 50-yard radius, didn't he? And it just went straight down his throat. Ollie Price didn't even have to move. So, no wonder he's fuming.
11 off the over, but a wicket as well. And Middlesex's middle order's been a bit vulnerable in this competition.
Max Holden, the new man at the crease. Cambridge lad.
Had a spell unknown at Northants at one stage, I think, from Middlesex.
Yeah, he did, left-hander. Came through Cambridge Granter Cricket Club. He's opened as well in the past. He's, you know, I think last season, he was opening and got them off to a speedy start with Stevie Eskenazi at times.
So with the 2 wides, this is the last ball of the over, and it will be still 11 off it at the end. So Lamb expensive, but he has removed, importantly, Joe Cracknell, and Jack Taylor's going to really mix this up here. There have been occasions in the past where Gloucestershire have used maybe 4 or 5 different bowlers in the power play, and we're going to see Zafar Gahar now bowl from the pavilion end. He, of course, and Tom Smith did a really good job with the Surrey batsman on Friday. Zafar, was it 4 overs for 15?
None for 15. Didn't take any wickets, but you know, you go for 15 in T20 cricket, it's worth its weight in gold, isn't it? So Zafar, who I believe Middlesex were quite keen on over the winter. I think they were.
They weren't alone.
No, there was about 8 or 9 counties interested in Zafar Gahar, and he's opted to stay in Bristol. much to the delight of the fans here. Anyway, he's going to come around the wicket from the pavilion end, and Milan plays that out to extra cover.
See, Middlesex could go 4, 5, 6, all left-handers here if they wanted to. Holman and Davis both left-handers.
Zafar. And Milan gives himself room. Zafar follows him, looking to put it through the ring of the offside because there's no one out there sweeping up. That's gone up in the air to long off. It's going to go a couple of bounces. That's Ollie Price out there, isn't it? I think
it is.
Yeah.
I saw him walking off for a hit in the nets before play today.
I thought he batted pretty well the other night. He only got 20, but he held the innings together when the pressure's on. And he does that, doesn't he, Ollie Price? He's having an influence on games, either with bat, ball, in the field. He took that unbelievable catch here against Glamorgan, the caught and bowled, which has done the rounds on social media, and rightly so.
He's taken 7 wickets at 11 in the tournament, which is crazy figures.
It's your sort of numbers when you were playing.
I wish.
Zafar, he's going to stay around the wicket to the left-handed Holman, who goes reverse sweeping. Oh, and that's a drop catch there. Oh, that was in the air.
Matt Taylor would not want to watch that again.
No. Holden didn't get hold of that. Pardon the pun. Zafar around the wicket. And Milan plays him over the top. That's gone. 1 bounce for 4 over long on. Good shot.
That was as clean a hit as the one before from Holden was really scruffy. I mean, Matt Taylor's not looking into the sun now. He's got a cap on. Whether it was really spinning badly, only he will know. But it was one of the ones where you really would expect him to take it.
Zafar to Milan, who looks for the single there.
Even with that boundary, only 6 off the over. It's good in the power play from Gloucestershire at the moment. 26 for 2 off 4. And with both openers gone, Bracey has decided that he's going to go for the cap rather than the helmet.
We apologise if we can't bring any replays at the moment. We've got a bit of a technical glitch. We're working on it.
But the helmet's gone off because he's standing back again, and Payne is back into the attack. So Jack Taylor just trying to spread the Payne overs perhaps a little more thinly from the Ashley Down Road, and this is the 5th over, and that's aerial from Max Holden. It will go 2 bounces and over the rope at long on. Backed away there to give himself some room. Ended going very aerial, but got enough on it with the field up inside the circle in the power play to pick up a boundary. What will Payne's response be? Holden goes right across, tries to play a horribly ugly shot down to short fine leg and no contact on it at all.
It's interesting there. Did that miss leg stump or did it go over the top of leg stump? Because Sue Redfern didn't give that wide, even though Max Holden had moved across to try and ramp it.
He was a long way across, to be fair.
Yeah, he did.
Payne again. Oh, probably had an idea what he was going to do with that one, so he drops it shorter and gets a dot ball out of it.
Yeah, 1 for the over the shoulder. Beautiful view here, isn't it? Over Bristol, over towards the Mendips. Not a cloud in the sky.
And for those at the pavilion end, there's a little bit of shade. Most of the rest of the ground, there isn't any at all. Cracked away this time, and that is past the dive of Ollie Price. That will go all the way to the boundary at backward point for 4 more. So Holden trying to get into his stride pretty quickly here. Top score so far of 43. He's played in all Middlesex's 5 previous games.
Yeah, I think this is a different, well, it's the same pitch, but it's a different scenario to Friday night. I'll come on to it after this ball.
Payne again to Holden. Shorter. And Jack Taylor on the bounce. He tries to throw down the stumps at the bowler's end. He doesn't hit.
He wasn't in the frame there, Holden. He was nowhere near. He'd have been 2 or 3 yards out.
And Jack Taylor just slaps his hands together in frustration at missing the stumps. They do so many practices of fielding drills, throwing the stumps down. And he wasn't a lot that far away from the stumps there, probably 18 yards maybe. Payne to Milan. Well, that might have been called a wide, but he stepped inside the line, but in fact he stepped to play it and picked up a single off the last ball of David Payne's second over. So Middlesex 36 for 2 with 1 over left in the power play. That one cost 10, with a couple of boundaries in it, but Payne does have an early wicket as well.
I think this is already a different type of wicket that we saw on Friday night, where the ball wasn't coming onto the bat so much, and I think this is coming on a lot more, and I'm expecting this to be a 170 pitch as opposed to what I said earlier being sort of 130 you're in the game. I think it's a 170.
And I think at 160, even at 160 you're definitely in the game here.
Matt Taylor's back into the attack, and that's thumped down the ground by Milan, only to find mid-off Jack Taylor going across there to field the ball. So quite deep there, mid-on and mid-off.
David Payne's 2 overs cost 14. Zaffer's only over cost 6. Danny Lamb's only over cost 10, but did have a wicket, and Payne obviously has a wicket as well.
Taylor in, Holden cuts, but can only find Zafar Gahar at backward point.
Captain applauds the intent, as usual.
Yeah, Gloucestershire been good in the field though, good on Friday night against Surrey.
This is Matt Taylor's 50th T20 game today, by the way.
Cool head with the bat at the end there as well on Friday night. Here he is. It's just work backward and they scamper through for 1. It was just to the right hand of the left-handed Zafar Gahar.
Yes, interesting that Ben Charlesworth, of course, bats left-handed but bowls and throws right-handed, whereas Zafar, left-handed bowler, left-handed thrower.
Left-handed batter. Taylor. That's hit firmly there by Milan, but can only find Rolofsson at mid-on. Hasn't got the gloves tonight. James Bracey back in the side, having had a little couple of game break. Came back into the side on Friday. I think he missed the Essex game and the Middlesex games last week. Taylor, as that's played firmly there by Milan, and they get through for a single.
Interesting that he's already starting to use his feet, Milan.
Yeah, they won't mind ones in the power play here. There's only 1 ball left of the power play. Middlesex 39 for 2. Peter Milan, almost said David Milan there. Peter Milan, he's on 21. Max Holden on 11. Taylor in, and Holden, that's gone over the top, and that's going to be 6 runs. He's gone aerial, got it right over the top, so he's maximised the last ball of the power play, and Middlesex have negotiated that, and they've got 45 for 2.
Yeah, so the last 2 overs, 19 have been taken from them, but Gloucestershire have got all sorts of slow bowling options in the team, and the first one outside the power play that Jack Taylor's going to turn to is Ollie Price, and we have said that he's taken 7 wickets at 11 runs each in the tournament so far. Yes, he's been quite expensive in the overs he's bowled, but if you regularly take wickets, then you're going to slow the rate down against the other bowlers, because sides have to just reassess after every dismissal. Tom Smith, I'm sure, will be into the attack soon, but Price with his off spin to the right-handed Milan. Oh, what a full toss first up. And it's caught on the boundary. What a catch from Rolofsson. Golden arm, Price strikes again.
Wow.
And Milan can't believe he's just slapped that down the throat of long on. Rolofsson had to just check where his feet were, right by the rope, but he clung on, and Milan has to go for a brisk 21, and Gloucestershire have Middlesex, if not teetering, then certainly not where they would want to be at 45 for 3.
When your luck's in cricket, your luck's in, and when your luck's out, it's also very much out. And Middlesex, you know, would have been relying now on Peter Milan to get them a decent score, and he slaps a full toss straight down the throat of long on, and he'll be absolutely furious with himself. Ollie Price strikes again. He's just finished his finals at Durham. Lovely lad. Came on the commentary with us, didn't he, for the game against Durham, and I thought he spoke very eloquently. Tom speaks very eloquently. Mum Lizzie follows me on Twitter as well. I'm waiting for my invite to Sunday lunch.
Yeah. Sunday lunch or the next wedding anniversary of the parents, one of the two. Anyway, Ryan Higgins is in at number 5. Rolofsson getting a good hand from the crowd just down below us after taking that catch.
Yeah, Ryan Higgins also got a decent reception as well.
Now, how will he play this? He's probably got longer to bat than he normally would expect. Have a look at the first one, and of course your mind goes back to that game where he really sealed his move to Gloucestershire with an innings at Cheltenham in a tied game for Middlesex. 77 not out he made that day. But in this competition this season hasn't done much yet. So for the left-handed Holden, Ollie Price coming round the wicket. Holden goes down towards Rolofsson as well, but that's going to beat the fielder and it will go all the way for 4.
He didn't get that over Jack Taylor, a short extra cover there by much, but enough to clear him. And the ball goes bouncing away to that Clinger's corner, as you call it here.
And I think the signal may have been to Tom Smith for the next over from the skipper. Middlesex 50 for 3. And Ollie Price in the 7th to the left-handed Holden, who steers that away past the fielder at point. But there's a man on the rope there, Ben Charlesworth. And just seeing who that signal was to, I think you got Smith and Zafar both out there, and it may have been Zafar who was actually signalled to return to the attack. Next up, Higgins thinks about a single with a little dab into the offside, but Ollie Price isn't having that. And Charlesworth is in to do the fielding, so a successful over for Price. Again, only 6 off it and a wicket. And Gloucestershire have Middlesex 51 for 3 off 7, having put them in. I wonder where Middlesex's target is in their own heads here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll still be confident that they can get to 150, 160, 170 in that region. I think, they've got the guys there who can do it. Luke Holman is a very good cricketer.
So in the game here last year, they got 163 batting first.
Yeah.
And it went to the last over.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't enough, was it?
It wasn't enough, no.
Zafar Gahar is going to come. He's going to come around the wicket to Holden, who crashes that through the offside. That's
Rolofsson, I think.
It's Rolofsson out there. Only Miles Hammond patrols the boundaries out there, doesn't he? So maybe he's long off, perhaps. Jack Taylor not believing in giving his bowlers much of a spell here. It's all been 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, isn't it? So here's Zafar Gahar around the wicket to Higgins and bowls him. His return back to Bristol has unfortunately ended up with him just scoring a solitary run as Zafar weaves his magic
Lovely sight for the spinner as well to see that off stump back at probably 25-30 degrees there, and Higgins has to make the long walk, and he looked as out of touch there as his numbers would suggest. Done well in the championship this season, but in this tournament things have not gone his way, and Middlesex 52 for 4, and Holden, who's got 23 of those, and he too could have been out. Remember, Matt Taylor spilling that chance, and Josh De Cares, son of Michael Atherton, is in at number 6.
Yeah, product of St Albans School and Radlett Cricket Club, where Middlesex play some of their outground cricket. Mark Eilert, the head coach at St Albans School, and Gloucestershire fans will have a link there as well, because George Scott, who played for both counties, also went to St Albans School. It's good cricketer, this lad. Here's Zafar going to come around the wicket to him, and he rocks on the back foot and pushes that into the offside, where Miles Hammond does the sweeping up.
To be fair to him, though, he's played very little T20.
He has. He's normally a very correct bat, but as we've seen with Ben Charlesworth, sometimes you can have more than one string to your bow, perhaps.
Middlesex might need a more correct bat here.
Zafar's going to stay around the wicket. Holden pushes that into the offside, just backward of square.
In a sense, these two could do with 5 or 6 overs of pushing singles, just to get them maybe to, I don't know, say 90 after 12.
Yeah. Oh, that's bounced and turned.
Tom Smith, who hasn't had a bowl yet, will have liked the look of that.
Yeah. Bristol has got a reputation for being a Bunsen, as they say in the trade, isn't it? Well, Gloucestershire with 4 spinners in their side today. Zafar just turned wristily into the onside there by De Cares. That completes the over, so 55 for 4 at the end of the 8th. De Cares on 2, Max Holden 24 off just 14 balls. And Middlesex need him to get a big score here.
They do. David Payne 2 overs for 14. Matt Taylor 2 overs for 14. Payne has a wicket. Danny Lamb 1 over for 10. Zafar Gahar 2 overs for 10 and a wicket. Ollie Price 1 over for 6 and a wicket. And we're now going to see the man who almost, and I know some supporters say this in a very respectful and loving kind of way, Captain Sensible. Tom Smith into the attack.
Yeah, another man who's played for both sides.
Smith then with 3 saving 1 on the offside and a sweeper out, as you would expect. That's played nicely into the onside though. Rolofsson comes off the boundary quickly at long on. That's good fielding that. I mean, there was probably only ever one there anyway, but he really made sure that Middlesex never had a thought.
Yeah, he's just grabbing his groin there, Rolofsson. I hope he's okay. He's just limping away a little bit there. Let's hope he's okay.
24 then.
He's calling for the 12th man.
24 to Holden. He sweeps from well outside the off stump there, way out to Zafar Gahar. And Rolofsson down in front of us at long on to the right-hander, having taken an excellent catch in Ollie Price's only over. Smith then to De Cares. He goes back and chops that away. It's partially stopped by a diving Ben Charlesworth. There was probably always one there anyway. Charlesworth at backward point. He'll go to short fine leg for the left-hander.
There's Rolofsson limping a little bit. He gave the signal to the bus stop, as we call it in T20 cricket.
Smith in again to the left-handed Holden, who seems to have worked out at the moment, a bit like Gloucestershire did on Friday, that it's almost just play sensibly and pick up the singles at the moment. Just keep the score ticking. If we can get 6 and over for 5 overs, and then think about how we might attack a bit more when both players are better set. Smith around the wicket to De Caires. Again, he looks for the one. There's a chase from Smith and from Rollston coming in, and he didn't look as if he was too impeded there, to be fair. They
looked right there.
Again, picked up just one. More bothered by the fact his glasses fell off his cap.
Yeah, no one likes to see that, do they? No one likes to see that.
60 for 4 then, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And the chat between skipper and experienced left-arm spinner. Perhaps about the possibility of just trying to chop the opportunity of these singles down. Smith from over the wicket to the left-handed Holden. They might want 2 here, Middlesex, but they won't get it because Zaffar's in quickly off the cover boundary. They're giving them singles here and really trying to cut off the boundaries that would really accelerate the scoring rate. 6 off that over from Smith. 61 for 4 off 9 Middlesex, but it is the wickets column that for them is the problem. Still to come, Holman and Davis, both of whom can bat. Helm, Wallalawita and Cullen would be a question of a bit of long handle, I think, if they get in later on.
Yeah, I think they will. Zaffar's going to get a second over in a row. This is unheard of. Crowd enjoying the sunshine here in Bristol. Zaffar coming around the wicket to Holden, who crashes him into the offside. Misfield there from Ben Charlesworth, and they scamper through for a single.
Yes, the pictures you're seeing at home, you think, gosh, it looks hot there. You would be right. In the sun, it really has quite a bit of warmth to it.
Well, I drove up from London this morning, and it certainly feels warmer here in the west than it does back in the southeast. Zaffar coming around the wicket to De Caires, who pushes out into the offside. He wants a single, but Charlesworth quick across the ground there.
That was De Caires' call too, but I think it was probably the right one from Holden to send him back.
I think the last thing Middlesex need is a run out, so they'll be a little bit conservative at the moment, shall we say. Oh, that's reverse swept. He's going to get 4 runs, but it wasn't a million miles away from the hand of the Gloucestershire skipper, Jack Taylor. It was a good shot, actually.
Risky, though, with the slip in, to actually go for the reverse sweep.
Yeah, I think that came off the glove and only just went over the top of Jack Taylor. There's Alfred the Gorilla on the scoreboard, signalling 4 runs. Family day here at Gloucestershire. Community work here at the club, do so much good work, and great to see so many youngsters in here, the next generation enjoying the game. That's played into the onside. Zaffar turns to throw but doesn't quite pick the ball up, and they scamper through for a single. 67 for 4.
Yeah,
De Caires on 10, Holden 28.
It might have been just as well, actually, because there was nobody by the stumps and the backing up was being done very deep. So
the thing is, the batsman has to ground his bat, and he runs so far through the crease trying to actually make his ground. It's very hard for him to turn. Zaffar in, and Holden just nurdles him around the corner for a single. It
is a day for that sort of tactic, isn't it? Rather than it isn't a day for the big hitter necessarily, you feel, on this pitch.
Yeah, Middlesex would have done their homework from Friday night. That's played. That could be a good shot there. They nearly came back for 2. But Zaffar's quick across the ground. We talk about weight of shot, don't we? And if you get the right weight on the shot, there are 2s on this ground when the field's spread. Everyone talks about Bristol being a small ground, but I don't think it's that small.
It's small straight, isn't it?
It's small straight, yeah, and it's smaller, I think, down here to the Ashley Down, or it looks smaller. Whether it actually is or not, I don't know, but it does look smaller towards our commentary position here at the Ashley Down Road end of the ground.
Right, I think, so Zaman Akhtar is fielding now where Rolofsson was, so I think Rolofsson has gone off.
Yeah.
So one hopes that isn't a serious injury, but Zaman Akhtar is out there fielding for him now. And Tom Smith to continue from the Ashley Down Road end. That is tossed up and missed by the Cares. Smith to continue. Pushed into the leg side by De Caires. Will just take one. And 70 for 4. Never guessed in the commentary box. We'll come to who that is in a moment. Just let them take their seat. It's a very warm seat up here. Here is Smith again, and that's gone off the toe end of the bat from Holden. Is he going to get 4 for that? Has he got anything on that at all? Yes, he has. Right off the bottom of the bat. Probably the least convincing shot he's played. And he goes up to 33, and it's 74 for 4. Yes, so the Western Storm were winners here earlier today, and one of the players part of that I'll introduce to you at the end of the over. Smith asked for an LBW off one that was probably going down the leg side, and there was a touch on it anyway, says Sue Redfern. Holden dropped early on by Matt Taylor and trying to profit from it. 75 for 4. This is the 11th over. Smith around the corner to De Caires, whose standard shot so far has been to work the ball into the leg side. He picks up another single for that, but the boundaries not coming freely for Middlesex. And Smith then again to the left-handed Holden, who's trying to glue this innings together, and he goes aerial once more here, out into the deep and taken. It's Ollie Price again. He's got such safe hands. A second important catch for him, a wicket for Tom Smith, and Middlesex are 76 for 5. Holden goes. He's top scored with 34, but that's a key wicket, and that's an appropriate time to bring in Danielle Gibson, who was part of the Storm team earlier today in their win over the Central Sparks. Ollie Price is like a magnet at the moment. The ball's following him round, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's good that he's keeping hold of the catches. But yeah, good wicket for Tom Smith.
And a good win for you earlier.
Yeah.
You're happy with your own performance with bat and ball and with the team's win?
Yeah, I was happy, especially with the ball. Frustrated with the bat, chipping it up to extra, which was a bit frustrating. But yeah, I think the team, we played really well, and it was a really good win for us.
And Orla and Fran actually just paced the chase very well, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we didn't really need to do anything special. If we batted the time, we get the runs, and they did that well. So yeah, they were really useful and did really well.
So Jack Davis is in for Middlesex at number 7, and Danny Lamb's coming back on at the pavilion end. I might just ask you in a minute what you think. I mean, you were left to chase 135. What you think of a difficult chase, or might be for Gloucestershire here, but the way they're going, they might have thoughts of bowling Middlesex out. 76 for 5 at the moment, and that's almost a full toss again from Lamb, who's almost been a bit guilty of over pitching here, but clipped away again by De Caires for a single. So did you think 135 was relatively comfortable to chase on this?
Yeah, I think for our game it was pretty much around par. The wicket was a little bit difficult, but the outfield was absolutely flying. So yeah, I think we were pretty comfortable. I think if Middlesex put on about 150, this would be a really good game.
So they'd be in the game at 150, you think?
Yeah, I reckon so.
So 4 for 23 earlier?
Yeah.
Which was, and also you got the 2 openers in the first 2 overs, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
which
it was good.
Clearly a very important part in a short format game like this.
Yeah, no, I was glad to get some wickets.
So Jack Davis, the Middlesex wicket keeper, to take strike from Lamb, is coming around the wicket to him, and that just pushes at that outside the off stump. When you said the pitch was a bit difficult, Matt Taylor said on Friday he thought it was a bit too paced. So when you said difficult, what did you mean by that?
It was just doing a little bit off the pitch, so nipping, cutters and slower balls, they were really good because it was just sticking a little bit. But it was still, I think it got better throughout the innings.
Maybe it's getting a little bit easier as the day goes on in this heat. Lamb round the wicket again. Davis pulls that into the leg side. There's a chase for Matt Taylor coming up from deep long leg, but they'll get one. So Middlesex, who were put in, have lost Eskenazi for 1, Cracknell for 2, the 2 openers, then Milan for 21, holding out to Ollie Price's bowling, and then Price taking his second catch to get rid of Holden off Smith in his last over for 34. Lamb to the right-handed De Cares, who reverts to type just like his father and nudges that into the leg side for a single. Brian Higgins, the other wicket to fall, bowled by Zafar Gahar for 1. The wicket's falling at 3:20, 45, 52 and 76. So it hasn't been a substantial stand for Middlesex at any point. Gloucestershire have just chipped their way down the order. And Lamb now has got 3 men saving 1 on the offside and a sweeper out. He's staying around the wicket. Davis lobs that into the air. It's safe though, between the 2 fielders just outside the circle on the leg side, and they'll come back for 2. Middlesex down here have got kind of 2 problems, haven't they? They're 5 wickets down, and the overs are starting to run away from them.
Yeah, I mean it's a good score, I guess, off 11 overs. But yeah, the wickets are an issue.
If they were 81 for 2, you'd say that they were in a quite a dangerous position from a Gloucestershire perspective.
Yeah, I think if these 2 batters can create a partnership, then they could be dangerous. But if Gloucestershire keep chipping away, then quid's in.
End of Danny Lamb's over. That's the 12th of the innings. 82 for 5. Remember the Gloucestershire side is the same 11 that played on Friday against Surrey. So from the squad that was selected, Josh Shaw, Zaman Akhtar, who's out on the field as a substitute at the moment, and Chris Dent were omitted. And there's just a bit of a chat here between Zafar and Jack Taylor, because Zafar's going to come back into the attack, this time from the Ashley Down Road end. He's bowled 3 overs for 18 at the moment, so this is his last. And it does look as if Gloucestershire are going to go heavily with their slower bowlers here. Zafar over the wicket. Oh, and a hoik from Davis, trying to go out towards deep mid-wicket. He's reaching for that quite a long way outside off stump. Zafar wheels in once more, and that's a more orthodox shot. You just get one up to Zaman Akhtar at long off. Is there an argument, Danny, here for just rotating the strike, just getting the singles for maybe even another 3 or 4 overs, do you think?
Yeah, I think these 2 batters need to stay in really, so if they can just rotate the strike, keep the scoreboard ticking and not lose any more wickets for a while, then yeah, they could be in a good spot to go big in the last couple of overs.
Zafar in his last over around the wicket, swept by De Cares. There is a man at deep square. Matt Taylor's out there, and the throw, an awkward bounce for James Bracey, but it's covered by the backer up. And 84 for 5 with wicketkeeper Davis now waiting for Zafar to come in. Uses his feet. That's gone away into the offside. It's a bit of a skewed shot, but he'll get one. And Ben Charlesworth is out in front of the big scoreboard on the Kennington Avenue side of the ground. Zafar's not quite in the miserly stakes of Friday night, but he still had a good spell here and he'll get just taken for one more single up to Zaman Akhtar at long on. My hunch is that De Caires has got almost all of his 17 runs in singles. That might not be quite true, but it seems to have been the, just to play it simply, he's only hit one boundary. Zafar again to Davis, uses his feet into the onside, and Ollie Price again prevents them taking more than one. And Zafar finishes with one wicket to his name, one to add to his tally in the tournament. And 1 for 23. My screen is not quite updated, but 1 for 23 is his final figures. There are the overall figures, all pretty economical from a Gloucestershire perspective. Nobody really having any kind of tap from this Middlesex attack. Do you think that the call is right from Jack Taylor here, Danny, to think about going with more of his slower bowlers? It just pace off, pace off?
Yeah, I think especially with this pitch, it's just going to do a little bit more than the seamers, and it makes the batters have got to do something rather than using the pace.
And Matt Taylor back into the attack to bowl to the left-handed Davis, who squeezes that out into the offside. They should get two. Here's a long sliding stop from Charlesworth, and they will just get the two, but it's about manoeuvring the ball into the spaces here, knowing where the twos are available. And the outfield here, as we've mentioned before, it's quite short straight, but if you go square, there's plenty of spaces to pick up the twos. And
yeah, we definitely found, because we've obviously got 4 out, there was just so much space. So yeah, if you run well, then you get some good runs in.
Taylor in again. I think he pulled by Davis, but it's gone much straighter than he anticipated, I suspect. And Ollie Price again does the fielding. One more to the Middlesex total. 90 they have in the 14th. Dan Whiting will come in at the 15 over point and take you through to the end of the Middlesex innings. Taylor around the wicket to the functional De Caires, who's pulled that, but again not really timed it. They might want two, but it's barely gone outside the circle. And Rodolson's back on the field. He was the chaser in from the boundary in front of the man stand. Good sprinkling there today. What's known as the South of France stand by some spectators, which is the one below the apartments, because it's often so hot down here. That I'm sure is equally full. Taylor to Davis. That's a bit shorter. Straight out to, I say straight out to Ben Charlesworth. It's gone past him. Oh, that should have been stopped. That should have only been a single, really. Charlesworth perhaps had his head up, looking for where the ball was to go before he had it in his hand. It's such a simple mistake to make, and it's given Middlesex 3 unexpected runs. And to be fair to Charlesworth, there are some drainage channels out there which are now very dry. Maybe it took a bump off one of those. Taylor in. Cracked off the back foot this time by Davis. Jack Taylor throws down the stumps at the bowler's end, having stopped the ball, and it's just gone for 1 run. Almost on an overthrow. So I want to just tighten things up a bit at the end of this over. 96 for 5 in the 14th still. Middlesex have got to put the foot down to get perhaps the 160 they want here. Matt Taylor from the pavilion end, and De Caires doesn't get that where he wants it, so Taylor's over is complete. He's got 1 left. That was his 3rd. David Payne's got 2 left. And in fact, only Zafar Gahar has bowled through, so Jack Taylor's got plenty of options. Middlesex are 5 down. They have 6 overs to go, and Dan Whiting will join us after the 15th over and take us through with Danielle to the end of the Middlesex innings. Danielle Gibson with us from the Western Storm side, who won earlier today. You opened the batting and the bowling today. That's the sort of thing that sometimes happens in club cricket that I used to play in. It wasn't me that was doing it though. All the ability at the top of the order. Here is Ollie Price back into the attack to the left-handed Davis, who tries the reverse sweep and gets it on the bounce only as far as David Payne at short third man. No run. I think Gloucestershire will be trying to keep Middlesex under 140 from here, would be my guess. Another reverse sweep attempted, and he's got that fine, and Matt Taylor can't stop that, and that's going to go away for 4. So an improvised shot from Davis, Middlesex wicketkeeper today, and the 100 is up in the 15th. It looks quite a struggle down here, batting wise, must be honest.
Yeah, I mean the bowlers have bowled well, they bowled to their fields, hit the hard length, which obviously works. Taylor did really well last over.
When you say the hard length, do you mean like back of a good length, effectively?
Yeah, like kind of bell height, just sticking in the pitch a bit, making it difficult to.
Again, that's off the toe end of the bat, and there's going to be 4 more down. Very, very fine. We had 2 real slaps from Jack Davis. Both have eluded the fielder at third man. Matt Taylor sprawled to try and get to both of them, and they've gone too fine for him and just raced away on this outfield, which is almost like glass here in Bristol today. More orthodox shot this time. So that Ollie Price is next delivery, but only 1 run as a result. But Davis has got himself to 24, and that's important runs for Middlesex. Ollie Price over the wicket to De Caires.
Catch it.
That's going to drop just short, is it? Oh, it's Zaman Akhtar's claiming the catch, and he's taken it. That's a really good effort from the sub-fielder. It's another wicket for Ollie Price. And Zaman Akhtar, I didn't think was going to reach that, but you've really got to be ready in any position on the field, even if you're on as a sub-fielder. And that was a low take, and he did well to cling on to that.
Yeah, he did. That was a really good catch.
And the biggest problem, I guess, when you're trying to take those low ones is not whether the ball sticks in your hand or not, but whether when your body hit comes to the ground, it bounces out. And whether you can cling on or not.
Yeah, I guess also like you're worried about the boundary behind you, don't want to roll into that. So yeah, he did really well to get that, and that's a good wicket for Gloucestershire.
So Josh De Caires goes, but a handy 18 at almost a run a ball from him. So the tall, it's like little and large out there now. You've got Luke Holman in at number 8, who towers over Jack Davis. And Zaman Akhtar getting a good hand from the spectators down in the family stand below our commentary position. And 105 for 6 Middlesex. So 2 left-handers in now, but a very different build. Holman, I'm sure, will have a bowl later. Here's Ollie Price to bowl to him, and that's down the leg side. Is that going to be giving us a wide? Yes, it is. And they'll run a bye anyway. So Holman gives the strike back to Davis, who's probably what he wants at this stage of the afternoon. Price on the pads, forces Davis to play it up to Zafar Gahar, but Price will take his cap at the end of another successful over. 2 more wickets for him in this game, taking his tally for the competition to 9. It's 108 for 6, 5 overs to go, and Danielle Gibson will be joined by Dan Whiting.
Yeah, the 2 Dans in the commentary box. One of them's far younger than the other one. One of them's a far better cricketer than the other one as well. So, you were supposed to do my scorebook whilst I was away there. I'm very disappointed.
I've absolutely no idea what to do there.
Right, we're going to have Danny Lamb, I think that looks like. And he's dropped that short. They're going to come back for 2.
Oh,
Davis
taken.
is in trouble. Oh, Bracey
Good effort.
hurls the ball there. So you've had a good day at the office this morning?
Yeah, very pleased with how we went out as a team, and yeah, pleased with my bowling. Good day.
4 for 24 or 4 for
23, I think
4
it
for
was.
23.
Yeah.
I think the scorers might have done you a little bit of an injustice there, Dave.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think we
get
had 4
onto
for
them.
24. Yeah, I think have a word.
Unreal.
Where I come from, we call that fraud. You know, so
Every run counts.
exactly, exactly. Lamb coming around the wicket, short ball. As that's pulled round the corner. They're going to come back for a second, little bit of indecision here. And that's good running actually in the end. So you're a Cheltenham lady?
Yeah.
You were born in Cheltenham?
I'm born in Cheltenham,
You
yeah.
Brought up in Cheltenham as well?
Yeah, Tewkesbury I live. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a Gloucestershire fan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gloucestershire fan. Yeah, played for them when I was growing up in all the counties and the EPPs.
Lamb coming there, and that's just guided backward. The point, no run. So how much rivalry is there between the Gloss girls and the Somerset girls in the Western Storm side? That's what I want to know.
I mean, especially when we play each other, I guess there's quite a bit. Like to get one up on each other, but it's
Quite
not
right.
too bad. Yeah.
Quite right, yeah. Short, pulled. That's only found Charlesworth out there. Out at deep mid-wicket. Well, I think Friday night, Gloucestershire get a win here in Bristol. You'll have bragging rights over,
Yeah.
you know, the likes of Sophie Luff, especially who works on the Somerset stream.
Yeah, she
you know,
does.
so,
She loves it.
Yeah. And I'll come on to it after this ball, but I want to talk to you about being named in the England squad earlier this year.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for this delivery from Lamb.
Oh, get out of the way, Sue.
That's Paul. Now
Take
he's
him,
in
Gracie.
trouble.
Oh,
direct
that.
hit. Is that gone? Sue
Oh,
Redford's
it's
lifted
doing
her
it.
finger. That's Holman
What a throw.
has got what a throw from the boundary. That's Tom Smith out there. What a throw. .114 for 7. Holman's run out for naught. Actually, without facing, I don't think he faced there. So he departs. Yeah, so you were named earlier this year in the England squad for the World Cup. I mean, how much of a wonderful phone call was that? Did it happen by phone call, or do you know? So how do you hear about it?
Yeah, so that one, Heather actually rang me. We were at training in Bristol, and she was meant to be in, but she wasn't feeling well. So then she gave me a buzz, and she just said, "Yeah, we want you to come out for the warm-up games to South Africa. We leave this date." And I was like, "Oh gosh, that's very soon."
Okay.
But yeah, it's really exciting.
And did you go to Loughborough for like a training camp or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I did actually. I think it was about a week before we flew out. Spent a couple of days there. Bold.
Lamb there. The new batsman is Tom Helm. And that completes the 16th over. 114 for 7 with Jack Davis on 30. Tom Helm, having just faced that solitary delivery, is on 1. So you have to go up to Loughborough and have a little bit of a sort of how many days do you spend up in Loughborough?
I think we spent 3 days there.
Okay.
2 or 3 days usually, and yeah, just prep really. Just a lot of training, just chatting around what was expected out there.
Yeah.
And obviously with the new coach, just trying to drill in what he wanted for the team and what he wanted them to do when they were out there.
And you South Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll come on to it after this ball because David Payne is going to come back, and that's pulled off the stumps. He's got that just in front of square. I think only just taking the 1 after the run out in the last over. So where were you based in South Africa? Whereabouts?
So we were in Pretoria.
Okay.
And we did, I think it was 3 warm-up games that we played. Yeah, I was there for just under 2 weeks,
Okay,
and then
nice.
they went out to the World Cup.
And that was in the World Cup was it January, February?
February. Yeah.
Well, very nice trip to South Africa in February.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one of those myself.
Bit of
Dan,
winter sun. It was lovely, actually.
Yeah.
Nice unexpected treat.
Yes, indeed. Payne coming around the wicket. Helm just plays that into the offside. And that's one more to the total. 116 now. So we spoke about earlier, this pitch was used Friday night, it's used this morning. What's this morning, 1:30?
Yeah, I think 1:33.
Yeah, 1:24 on Friday night.
Yeah.
As Payne comes in here. That's carved into the offside for a single. Do you think sort of Middlesex will be pleased if they can get this up to sort of 140, 150, or do you think that's not enough?
I think they will be pleased if they do get it to there, considering what position they were in at the start. I think it will make a good game if they do get there. But it is a difficult wicket, and Gloucestershire have bowled well.
You said this morning it was sticking in the wicket a little bit as Payne comes in. And that's gone up in the air. That's gone straight down the throat of Zum Akhtar on as substitute fielder. And that is the end of Tom Helm. That was like catching practice, wasn't it? You have to move.
Straight to him.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah. So you said it was sticking in the wicket a little bit this morning?
Yeah. Once the ball stopped swinging, we just said like cutters and slower balls, were so effective.
Yeah.
And then like spinners, bring them on as much as possible. Definitely a tricky wicket, but the outfield is absolutely racing away, so you could get value for your shots.
Yeah, it sort of counterbalances each other, doesn't it? The wicket might be difficult, but the outfield's so quick that I think there's plenty of runs. I think it's not one of those wickets for playing the big shots on. It's one of those for sort of pushing, running, and sort of turning ones into twos.
Yeah.
Twos into threes, etc.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you tried to play the big shots, the pitch would have done you a little bit. Sitting in your crease was definitely more effective than coming down the wicket.
That is David Payne's 10th wicket in the T20 competition this year. Wonderful servant, Gloucestershire cricket. Here he comes around the wicket to the new batsman, Blake Cullen. You a big David Payne fan?
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good bowler. He did well in the Big Bash as well.
And coming from your neck of the woods, I mean, you must have gone to Cheltenham Festival at times. Yeah,
I did the odd day. Yeah, it's a really good week for Gloucestershire. It's a nice day out.
Payne over the wicket. Davis pulls, a lot rests on his shoulders now to get Middlesex up to nearer that 150 mark. That completes the 17th over, so 118 for 8. Jack Davis, 33. Blake Cullen on 1. Blake Cullen's come from the Berkshire setup. He's a 22-year-old, got a contract with London Spirit last year with 100. He played for the second 11 at Middlesex when he was just 15, and he's quite sharp. He's one to watch when he bowls. Danny Lamb from the Pavilion End.
Shot.
That's one of yours there, Dan. That's one of yours. That is.
That is a great shot.
That is superb.
That is flown off the bat.
Yeah, straight down the ground for 6 runs. That is magnificent from Davis. He's only a small chap, but wow. Sheer timing. He didn't even sort of follow through. He just pushed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Here's Lamb to him. Block hole this time. Doesn't give him room to swing his arms. So what, I mean, do you bowl at this stage of the innings generally?
Yeah, so I normally have one normally in the power play, but I've got 2 today, and then normally around the middle, and then 2 at the death.
Okay, so what are you looking for at this stage? Are you looking for block hole, or are you looking to vary it, or slower balls, or?
Normally I would go slowies and Yorkers.
Just like Lamb did there, slower ball, rolled his wrists, rolled his fingers across it, and 1, 2, Cullen. So you're looking to vary it as much as possible, keep the batsman guessing.
Yeah, definitely.
The batter guessing, yep.
Yeah, trying to get in that block hole, or if you are going to bowl back of the hand slowly, like hitting that hard length, because that was difficult today to play.
I suppose it varies on the pitch, doesn't it, as well? It varies on where you're going. That's short, and Davis pulls that out into the deep, where Miles Hammond does the fielding out there. 6 on to 128 now. I think we've got Fran Wilson potentially coming here in the second innings.
Well bowled.
Slower ball. Lamb appeals for the LBW. Bracey wasn't really interested behind the stumps. But ones are okay at this stage of the innings, aren't they? I mean, your skipper's quite happy with that, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's just damage control now. Just trying to keep them to singles and not let them get too many boundaries away.
Lamb around the wicket. Davis plays that out to the offside to Zafar Gahar, and that completes 18 overs, 130 for 8. So that was a good over there for Middlesex.
Yeah, that was a good over.
12 off the over.
Yeah, they need to go a bit bigger now in these last two. Get a few more runs on the board.
There's the graph. Dots there where the wickets have fallen. I think Eskenazi was a big wicket at the top of the order. He's a dangerous customer. And here's the man who made him nick off behind, David Payne. Davis plays that out to Taylor. 2 Jacks, Jack Davis, Jack Taylor. Listening to 2 Dans, Dan Whiting, Danny Gibson. Payne approaching the crease, and that's carved out, cut into the offside. Miles Hammond doing the fielding. Family day here today as well. Gloucestershire do so much with the community, don't they?
Yeah, I think we've got a signing session with the men after for anyone who wants a signature.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be good for us all.
Well, if there's any youngsters listening in on the crowd, or anyone older even people
Yeah.
of my age perhaps, they go and get your merchandise signed by the men's and the ladies' side. Western Storm players. Payne.
Oh, well bowled.
That is well bowled. That's what you were speaking about there, wasn't it? The sort of just rolling your fingers across
Yeah,
it.
that hard length and slowies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's bowled well the saver so far.
I thought they bowled really well. You know, the 19th and 20th overs have been fantastic for Gloucestershire in the last 2 games, definitely. That's a quicker bouncer. That's...
Oh, 1 for the over.
Yeah.
Well bowled.
Yeah, I think, you know, Matt Taylor as well has bowled the 20th over, and I'm sure he'll bowl the 20th here. But he only went for... I mean, they needed 7 at Merchant Taylor's last week, Middlesex, and didn't get it. And he only went for 1 against Surrey here on Friday night. That's played into the offside. It's going to be a quick single as Ollie Price does the fielding. You an Ollie Price fan? He's had a good T20 tournament, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been going well. Taking some good catches today and bowled well. So yeah, he looks like in good form.
You must be a Tom Price fan. I mean, after what he's done earlier in the year with that 100 and the hat-trick all on the same day.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good effort. All-rounder's dream, really.
Yeah, that's really well bowled there by David Payne. Just 2 runs off the over. And 1 over to go. 132 for 8. So as a batter in this situation, then, you know, is it sort of play big shots, or is it a matter of getting bat on ball for you?
I think last over you just want to get bat on ball, really. If they can get to 140, that would be good. So
I think it gives their bowlers something to bowl at, doesn't it?
yeah, definitely. It's be defendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just get bat on ball and swing hard.
Matt Taylor coming in from the pavilion end,
Oh,
and that's a dot ball.
that's a good first ball.
Dot ball's a hot ball, as they say. If you're 11 years old and, you know, sort of under 11 training session perhaps, you know, but hey, we can go with that. Immaturity is the...
It's really far back in his crease here, Cullen. Sharp.
Pulled that, clossed it a little bit
That's
though.
clossed it, yeah.
And just dribbles out into the onside. They come through for a single. Davis on 43's batted well actually. Came in with a little bit of pressure on him.
Yeah, he has done well to build in innings and keep his team in it.
Came in when Ryan Higgins was out. Matt Taylor coming over the wicket to the left-handed Davis, who plays that into the offside. He's got that one through. He's got it out to long off. They're coming back for the second and they get back comfortably. It's a good placement there. Just evades the diving. And that's Jack Taylor, an extra cover. Normally when these guys are in whites and we're covering a 4-day game, I see that, you know, I know exactly who's who. I think it's these yellow tops. Matt Taylor in, and that's short and goes out to deep backward square where Tom Smith does the fielding, comes in and they only take a single. Yeah, it's either the yellow tops, Danny, or you know, maybe I need to go down to Specsavers perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get a check-up.
Yeah,
Though
yeah.
it is difficult, to be fair.
So the leg side is open. Taylor comes in, and that is pulled lustily into the leg side, and they're going to come back for 2. 138 for 8. This is the last ball of the innings. Can Middlesex maximise their opportunity here? Taylor in, and that's cut away. Miles Hammond doing the fielding. They're going to come back for a second, and he's gone by a long way. He wasn't even in the frame. Ball comes in to James Bracey, who does the rest, and that's the end of Blake Cullen. So he's run out for 7, and the Middlesex innings finishes on 139 for 9 off of their 20 overs. It's something to bowl at though for Middlesex, isn't it, Danny? Don't you think?
I think their bowlers will be more confident with that score on the board. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game today.
Yeah. Well, you've been fantastic guest. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back shortly to see if Gloucestershire can chase down this 139, 140 to win. And you've been listening to me, Dan Whiting, and Danny Gibson, and Ian Randall will come back after the break. We'll see you soon. The Gloucestershire innings here as they attempt to chase down the 139 for 9 that Middlesex scored. I'll just go you through the Gloucestershire bowling figures with you quickly. David Payne 2 for 21 off 4, Matt Taylor none for 30 off 4, Danny Lamb 1 for 32 off 4, Zafar Kahar economical as ever 1 for 23 off 4, Ollie Price 2 for 18, another couple of wickets off 2, and Tom Smith 1 for 13 off 2. The big news here, Ian Randall, is
that Grant Roloffson is not opening the batting. Now, obviously he went off during the Gloucestershire innings. He didn't field through all of it. May have gone to have some treatment. So Miles Hammond is opening with Ben Charlesworth. So the two left-handers. Gloucestershire, of course, have a plethora of left-handers. Roloffson is a right-hander, so there might be an element of that. But Tom Helm is going to open the bowling for Middlesex. They've got 139 to defend, so it's 7 and over the asking rate for Gloucestershire here. And this against a Middlesex team who have lost all of their 5 games so far. Can they get a good start? Helm in and played quietly by Hammond into the leg side.
I think that's a competitive total though on this wicket. Surrey got 1-2-4 on it the other night. I think they're in with a shout here, Middlesex.
They have to bowl well though.
They have to bowl well. Yeah, they can't bowl, any toffee as it's known in the trade. But I think they're in with a sniff here.
Haven't got a vast array though of bowling options. They've got 5 regular bowlers, but after that, if one of them should get a bit of tap, that may cause them an issue. Hammond away with a single, steered into the gully. Middlesex with this. From your point of view, it's quite a smart kit, actually, I think.
Middlesex?
Yeah, I don't mind it as a kit at all. I think it's quite, some might say it's quite stylish. It's very Middlesex, you might argue.
Well,
I couldn't possibly say that. Helm with his captain at mid-off. Comes in the balls. Waiting was the call. They didn't wait very long. Scampered a single through to Eskenazi.
Yeah, Holden came across there from extra cover as well, who is not a man to take liberties with in the field.
Higgins is at mid-on. I know we'll see him, whether he'll bowl the pace of some of his deliveries that we've seen so far this season today remains to be seen on this pitch. Helm. And he's almost dragged that on. Hammond tried to take the bat away, and it was the Harrow cut, and he got away with it. Jack Davis keeping wicket for Middlesex this afternoon. No John Simpson in their side, but to be fair, Davis got 46 off 33 balls, which was a good effort. Only 3 boundaries. He did hit 1-6 though as well, so. And Helm fields well off his own bowling. And I suppose given that it's 140, they don't necessarily have to go hammer and tongs at it from ball 1.
No, as we spoke about, it's about finding the gaps, running the singles hard, running the 2s and possibly even 3s. Tom Helm here, good bowler, signed a long-term extension with the club in the spring. Buckinghamshire lad.
Helm to Hammond, who's can't get it past Eskenazi, so an economical first over, just the 2 runs from it. Middlesex only 2 6s in their innings and 11 4s. Not a lot in a T20 game, that.
No, it's not. We're going to see Blake Cullen from the pavilion end. I'm looking forward to watching this lad. He's quite sharp. He's got a big future ahead of him, Blake Cullen.
I think I saw him in a T20 game at Radlett first time out. That was not on his debut. That's the first time I saw him live. And I think sharp is a very good word.
Yeah, here he comes in to Charlesworth, who cuts him back with a point. But the man is out in the deep. I think that's Luke Holman out there. It is. And a single to Charlesworth. Yeah, the first time I saw Blake Cullen, I think, was after COVID, and it was the first game that they allowed crowds back in. And Middlesex played Surrey at the Oval.
Cracknell, short third man, right on the edge of the circle for him.
Hammond plays that through the offside, and he's split the fielders there. Higgins can't get down to it, Holden can't get across to it, and that's a very pleasant way to bring up the first boundary of the Gloucestershire innings.
I wonder whether Higgins might have dived over that actually, but it was reasonably well placed by Hammond. He was going, because you've got a short, straightish extra cover and then one a bit squarer, pick the gap between them.
Hammond plays that one out to mid-off. They don't take the single. Hammond batted very well against Middlesex last week. He was dropped early on by Ryan Higgins, which was a reasonably simple chance, but he batted very well. And I like him opening the batting, Miles Hammond. He opened the batting in T20 last year. We saw him with that outrageous, extravagant reverse sweep for 6 off Delray Rawlins in the game here against Sussex. First ball of the game. Cullen in. Hammond has placed it in exactly the same spot. That's going to go across the outfield. Higgins in pursuit, can't get there, and that's 4 runs. Moves the score on to 11.
Just as a kind of a guide for you here, Middlesex were 45 for 2 after the power play and ended up getting 139. So, and that graph that I think James Hingley showed at the end of the innings, they were relatively steady with their run rate.
Come down the leg side. That's good work there by Wulalawita. Round the corner. Back in the side today. They've been playing Nathan Fernandez as the slow left arm of Middlesex, who's doing a degree in business management at Royal Holloway University over in Egham, Harrow boy. But Tillan is Potter's Bar Cricket Club, who've produced so many good cricketers. George Scott, who was here, and Rishi Patel, who's had a wonderful season, 300s for Leicestershire. That's nicely placed as well by Charlesworth. Just going to get 1 out there, out to the skipper Eskenazi doing the fielding. That completes the second over, 13 for none. Yeah, so Potter's Bar Cricket Club has produced so many great cricketers, and Tillan Wulalawita has come over. He arrived as a refugee after the tsunami in Sri Lanka back in 2004 and was only just given citizenship, I think, last year or the season before, which is, you know, a strange way sort of to go about things, really. But he's a lovely lad. Bowls tidy left arm spin. He can also bat. He can give it some long handle with the bat.
Didn't see him with the bat today. Helm short, and that could be out. So it's just out of the reach from Ben Charlesworth of Ryan Higgins. Probably a taller man might have been able to get to that at long on. He didn't time it. It's a shortish boundary. He was looking towards that short straight boundary at the Ashley Down Road end. And Charles with a touch fortunate to get away with that. Can he profit from it? Helm to him again. That's kept down this time. Shorter ball. And Wulalawita does the fielding. Just think about Hammond. He got that 59 at Merchant Taylor's.
Yeah, he was dropped on 9 by Higgins.
Miles, it tends to be a little bit feast or famine, doesn't it? He hasn't got apart from that 59, he hasn't got a score in double figures in the other innings. And last year his top score was 31. So would say it's timely that he's got at least one good score already, and Charlesworth hit on the pad, trying to work that into the leg side, but nothing doing. Fielded by Milan.
I think it pitched outside leg stump. Helm fancied that. Miles Hammond, as you say though, I love watching him bat though. He's an entertainer, isn't he?
I think sometimes he kind of came to prominence a bit in white ball cricket. I wonder if he actually prefers the longer format sometimes. We've pushed at that. That's a good delivery from Helm.
Yeah, that zipped off the pitch there. You know, we were speaking to Danny earlier, Danny Gibson from the Western Storm. She was on in the first innings, and she was saying the ball was sticking in the pitch. And if it does, that will be Ryan Higgins will come into the equation then, won't he?
Well, Higgins at his best certainly would. He's not had a happy time in this tournament. Only taken 2 wickets in the 5 matches, and he's bowled almost as many overs as anybody else. Helm's now got a man out at deep mid-wicket. Hammond will just pinch a single. I say pinch, it's a comfortable single there. Out to Josh De Cares was the fielder out there. Asks whether he needs to retreat once more, but he's told not for Charlesworth. And Helm has changed his mind. So the 2 men out are both on the leg side here. Gloucestershire chasing 140 to win. This is the 3rd over, and Charlesworth, I think, has middled that. That's a very clean hit. And however many men you've got back, that's going to clear them every day of the week. He's really picked that up sweet as a nut, and the first boundary clean over the rope for Ben Charlesworth in this innings. Here's a second look at it.
Yeah, Helm dropping a little bit short here.
But he's quickly into position, quickly picked the length.
Yeah, latched onto it.
And Gloucestershire 23 for no wicket, 3 overs gone, exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, you can't put your men back in the city of Bristol College, can you? So
now here's
joins the ground.
Here's a bold move. Josh De Cares is going to come on, and he hasn't previously bowled in T20 cricket for Middlesex. He bowls a little bit of off spin. So they're thinking perhaps with 2 left-handers in, it's another option. And Stephen Eskenazi turning to Michael Atherton's son.
Yeah, I mean, I think
in the power play.
Yeah, it's a bold move. Here he comes as Hammond works that one back with a square, and they scamper through for a single. Holman can't quite get down to that one. Yeah, I mean, I think Middlesex are just trying things, just trying to make things happen, aren't they? Here's De Cares, and that's gone. Charlesworth stumped, and it's worked for Eskenazi. Turns past the outside edge. Jack Davis does the rest, and Charlesworth left out of his ground. Big turn there, big turn. So that's the first wicket gone with 24 on the board in the 4th over.
I was going to say whether Middlesex were just trying to sort of almost pilfer an over against a bowler who Gloucestershire wouldn't have seen a lot of. They not only pilfered an over, they've pilfered a wicket as well.
Yeah, you'd think they were just trying to sort of, work their way, as they say, filth your way through a sort of 4 overs from someone or a couple of people. Ollie Price is coming out, number 3. But that turned extravagantly, and I do wonder. It's a good move from Eskenazi. There's a lot of left-handers at the top of the Gloucestershire order. Off-spinners like bowling at left-handers. They turn the ball away from them. You do wonder whether that's come into his thought process.
And I'll counter that by saying Ollie Price at 3 as a right-hander. Gloucestershire saying, OK, whatever you can do, we'll try and counteract it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think probably Bracey might have come in at 3 perhaps, or even Rolofsson. I don't know how bad his injury is anyway. He's De Cares, he's going to stay around the wicket. Surprise, who's gone reverse sweeping. Big appeal for LBW. As that pitched outside his leg stump. Let's have a look at this. I think that's pitched outside leg. There's no doubt he was going on to hit the stumps, but if the ball pitches outside leg stump, you can't be LBW. De Cares, that's a well fielded off his own bowling as Price thumps that one back down the ground to him.
And you can guarantee, if nothing else, he will be ultra competitive. You can imagine what his father instilled in him.
Without a doubt. I mean, he's come on here, he's made things happen, he's created theatre, hasn't he? Here he is around the wicket, and Price gets off the mark with a little nudge out to the Middlesex skipper at mid-on.
So 140 is the target, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. And what Gloucestershire want to do is keep the run rate, the current run rate and the required run rate as in this early stage as similar as they can.
De Cares around the wicket as Hammond bunts that one out to mid-on, and that completes a very respectable over. 26 for 1, just the 3 runs off it, and the wicket of the dangerous Ben Charlesworth, who's been in such good touch recently.
So I wonder if that's the clue for a bowling change, with Helm having bowled 2 pretty tidy overs at this Ashley Down Road end, 2 overs for 12. Colin is going to change ends and have a go from this Ashley Down Road end himself, having just bowled the 1 over from the pavilion end. So we're doing our commentary today from the Ashley Down Road end, looking towards the pavilion. Man stand to our left. Cullen starts his run just about at the edge of the 30-yard circle. Hammond waits for him and plays that pleasantly up to mid-off where Ashkenazi is in the hat, but nothing doing there. So it's unclear at the moment whether or when Grant Rolofsson will bat. And we say that because in chasing a ball in from the boundary, he appeared to pull up during the Gloucestershire innings. He went off for a while, but was on the field again later, and Hammond will pinch a single.
Yeah, I don't know
out
if
on
it's
the
his quad.
offside.
I don't know if it was his quad or the top of the leg, but he sort of seemed to be feeling in that region, if that doesn't sound too rude to say on.
And to be fair, Zaman Akhtar came on and took 2 excellent catches as a sub.
Yeah, he did.
So fair play to him for his part in the game, but Rolofsson would normally expect it to have opened. He didn't, and he didn't come in at 3 either. So if there is any element of doubt there, Gloucestershire would probably try and win the game without him if at all possible. Price will nudge Cullen out for a single to Walla Lewita on the offside behind square. Just a reminder that in that 139 for 9 that Middlesex got, Jack Davis made an unbeaten 46 and Max Holden made 34. There wasn't much else around them. Milan got 21, De Cares 18, nobody else in double figures. It was a bit of a recovery from a poor start. They lost wickets regularly. Very, very fine work down by Miles Hammond. Not actually the prettiest of shots, but very effective. And Cullen concedes a boundary down fine towards the players' dressing rooms, and Gloucestershire tick up to 32 for 1.
This is definitely a pace-off wicket here, and the extra pace of Blake Cullen is playing right into Gloucestershire's hands.
Sprints away from us, and we're doing a sprint here, and that's pulled again by Hammond, but I say straight to De Caires at mid-wicket, no run. Middlesex have got in this 5th over, they've got a man out, basically square of the wicket on either side. Well, they did have. They've now changed the thought. They've put a man away out now at mid-wicket and at deep back of the square, and they've pulled in the man at point to the edge of the circle. So 2 men out both on the leg side for Cullen. He's going to come around the wicket to Hammond, trying to cramp him up a bit there, but he can still pinch a comfortable single out on the leg. So there's going to be a lot of that, I think. Gloucestershire will... Tom Smith, in an interview I remember doing with him some time ago, said you have to know where the pockets are on any ground that is either... Because no cricket ground is absolutely like a coin, is it? I mean, I think there's talk of this new one that Lancashire are going to build almost being absolutely like a coin, so that the boundaries are equal from all parts if the pitch is in the middle. But at Bristol, it's wider, squarer, so you've got to know where you can pick up the twos and where you're only going to get the ones, and particularly against the spinners. And Walla Lawita is going to bowl the last over of the power play. Yeah,
as you said about Klinger's corner down here being the shortest area of the ground, and you know, he was like Pythagoras working out the angles there, wasn't he? Here's Tilan Walalawita into the attack. He's coming around the wicket to Miles Hammond. Good to see him back in the side. Yep, Rishi Patel, his teammate at Potter's Bar, will be here a week on Sunday. Or a week today, actually, isn't it? A week today with Leicestershire. Hammond goes down the ground, and that has gone 1-2 bounces away for 4 runs. Didn't get all of that, really. It sounded a bit tinny off the bat, didn't it? But he's you know, done the job.
And it was straight enough that there was never a chance for the man at mid on or mid off to get anywhere near it.
Yep. Here he comes around the wicket, and Hammond works him into the onside. Untidy throw comes in to Davis.
Is that Cracknell out there?
Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, he's just swapping position. He's going to slip here for Ollie Price, and Holden goes back into the covers where Cracknell would have been.
Cullen is at almost backward point for the reverse sweep.
Price down the wicket, and that one has gone for 4. Nice shot. Price using his feet.
Trying not to let Walla Lawita settle here.
Yeah, going over the top of mid-off. It's also the last over of the power play as well, so they'll want to sort of maximise only having 2 men outside the ring. Here's Walla Lawita as Price goes offside and works that one backward. Square can only find Luke Holman at deep backward.
So Middlesex, at least 3 slow bowlers we're going to see. We've seen De Caires already. This is Walla Lawita. Holman still to bowl.
Yeah. Tilam bowls. That's a good ball, that is.
Yeah, Hammond might feel, end of the power play, 43 for 1. Middlesex 45 for 2.
Even Stevens.
At the same stage. Hammond might have to play a bit of a different sort of innings here, because he tends to be a very vociferous attacker, whereas actually here, dare we refer once again to one M. Klinger, a very carefully compiled 60 might be the answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you would hope then that other people could bat round him. So De Caires is going to come on from the Ashley Down Road end, so a change of ends for him. First over outside the power play, so a bit more of a defensive field. And Price goes for the reverse sweep, but doesn't get nearly enough on it, and Wallaluita fields. So 4 men saving 1, backward point, mid-wicket, a short cover and a fine leg, and Price has tried to get that away through the offside. It's gone very, very fine off a thickish edge, and he's going to get 4 for it. That's T20 for you. Not a lot of justice there for the bowler, but Ollie Price won't mind, and he's already up to 11.
Yeah, moral victory there for Josh De Caires. He's making things happen with the ball here, isn't he?
Price waits for De Caires past umpire Redfern. Tried the shorter ball, and Price has waited for it, and he's guided it past Wallaluita down towards the boundary at third man. That'll be 4 more. Well, there have been 4 boundaries in the last 2 overs here for Gloucestershire.
We spoke about how quick the outfield is, and that's just a little tickle around the corner. And Tilan Wallaluita couldn't cut that off. Runs away very fast down there towards the players' dressing room.
Just use what pace there is in the ball. Didn't hit that very hard at all. De Caires again around the wicket. The reverse sweep from Price should be stopped on the boundary by the... I think that might be Holman. That's not... I don't think that's Holman.
Peter Milan.
Yeah, it's Milan. I thought it didn't look tall enough to be Holman.
Holman's down here at long on. Down in front of us.
See him shortly, no doubt. 52 for 1 in the 7th, chasing 140. Hammond on 24. Oh, that's spat.
That's well bowled.
Yeah. Davis didn't take that cleanly.
No.
But yeah, Hammond might well come down and put a little divot mark in there. And a bit of a chat between...
Oh, that's proper spitting cobra, that is.
Skipper and bowler. So it's a change in the field. They're bringing a man back in again to mid-wicket. De Caires round the wicket. And is that going to...
Oh, that was up in the air. I was looking for where that went. I think
you weren't alone.
I think it only just went behind Davis. But I don't think he just didn't pick it up. It's one of those that's very hard. Let's have another look at it here.
It's gone off, almost off the top edge.
Yeah, or maybe off the glove, perhaps.
No damage done to Middlesex on the scoreboard, but a couple of iffy moments for Gloucestershire in that over. 52 for 1 though. A couple of boundaries compensated for it. And these two have kept the scoreboard ticking along, having lost Ben Charlesworth with the score on 24. So they've added 28, these two, at the moment.
Luke Holman going to come into the attack. Starts off with, well, what should have been a dot ball, but misfield off what is normally a reliable fielder. You never misfield off your own bowling, Ian, do you?
What you
Cardinal
say?
sin.
Yeah, you try not to, that's for sure.
No.
Eskenazi, again, just talking to bowler about the field here. I haven't seen Ryan Higgins yet, and in terms of pace off, he would probably feel he's got as good a chance as anybody on this sort of wicket.
Here he comes, tossing the ball hand to hand. Quicker ball, so that's played out to long on, and Hammond is sent back by Price.
Quite right, there were 2 fielders converging on the ball. Cracknell coming from away at long on, and there's a man out in front of the scoreboard as well, and there was probably only ever a run and a half there, so the decision to say no to the second run was a good one.
Holman. And that's swept away by Price. 1 out to Ryan Higgins at deep backward square. It's been her game 2 today with the Western Storm. Her game 2 was set up here in Bristol and has gone nationally by a lady called Lucy Ford, whose birthday it was the other day, so we hope we had a Lovely birthday, Lucy. Holman tosses that one up. But yeah, it's been a really good day for the family. 2 more there for Miles Hammond. It's been a really good day, family day here. Lots of youngsters in the ground. We've got the weather for it.
2 matches.
2 matches. We've got all the stalls open. We've got activities around the ground. Oh, to be in Bristol in the summertime. Holman in as Hammond just plays that into the offside. Eskenazi doing the fielding.
I wonder as each over ticks by whether Gloucestershire are just thinking about their batting options and who might come in at 4 if necessary.
It's played out to long off for a languid single there. That completes Luke Holman's first over. 58 for 1.
Yes, it's the wickets column that makes the difference at this stage, because Middlesex were 4 down at this point, and that meant they had to manage the later overs. To be fair, Davis managed the later overs very well on the whole, but it doesn't mean that you have much flexibility with the tail perhaps exposed in the later overs. So with Gloucestershire only having 1 wicket down.
Do you think Gloucestershire have got like a floating? I'll come on to it after this ball from
Molinowito's back in the attack, and that's, well, attempted to be hooked away into the man's stand by Hammond, but it didn't get anything off the bat.
I'm glad Hammond got something on that, otherwise he'd have been out-stumped.
A floating batting order?
A floating batting order.
I think they may do.
So if Price is out, do you think Roloffson comes in, or do you think, if Hammond's out, does Bracey come in perhaps?
I think they would have a right and a left-hander available, depending on who was out, just to keep the right and left-handed mix for the bowlers.
Yeah. Gloucestershire with a plethora of left-handers in their top order. Obviously Charlesworth's departed, Miles Hammond, missing Chris Dent today. Marcus Harris, who's just joined up with the Australians as part of the 4-day side.
Molinowito in once more. That's pulled, not the most graceful shot from Price into the leg side. Got that off the bottom part of the bat, only a single. Hammond waits for Molinowito again, and he's tried to pull that away, and it's just, it's parried well, it's parried back. That's very well fielded. I think there was a possibility there of Max Holden thinking about taking the catch or giving 6 runs away, and he tried to just save the 6.
Amazing from Max Holden. He saved his side 5 runs there.
They got 1, and that's all.
He would have taken it over the rope with him.
What will Ollie Price's reaction to Molinowito be? Tried to sweep, he's gone down the leg side, and he's got quite a lot on that. It's going to run all the way away for 4 down in front of the club office. And Molinowito's been quite expensive so far. Even the switch of ends hasn't changed much. 65 for 1. Gloucestershire approaching halfway to their target. 140 is the target. Price again, same shot, as he's got that a bit squarer, and that will go for 4 as well. And these are the overs that are costing Middlesex, because we've had, I think now, 3 overs where there have been back-to-back boundaries.
Yeah, there have been. And Ollie Price is really coming to the fore as a fantastic cricketer, isn't he? Just 21 years old.
And they tried to pull that into the Kennington Avenue car park and got nothing on it at all. So 9 4s and a 6 already in this Gloucestershire innings in 9 overs. Middlesex 11 4s and 2 6s in 20. So it kind of shows where the boundaries are being very profitable for Gloucestershire at this stage. 69 for 1 off 9. I reckon they're at least an over ahead of the game probably at the moment.
Yeah, Middlesex were 61 for 4. But Ollie Price is having an influence on games, isn't he? Either with bat with ball, or whether those bucket hands of his that he's pulling off brilliant catches with, and he's having an influence on every game that Gloucestershire are playing at the moment. This is De Caires back into the attack to Miles Hammond.
So today, 2 wickets, 2 catches, and he's got 27 not out already.
Hammond reverse sweeps, that's well fielded there, round the corner from Max Holden. They get 1 for it though. He's scoring to 70. Hammond's on 30, Ollie Price is on 27 from just 16 balls.
Big gaps on the leg side here. Sensible pushing of singles.
De Caires short, Price pulls into the onside.
There's a massive gap on the leg side there, Dan. I wonder whether, if they'd have really placed that carefully, there might have been a 2 somewhere there, but he went for the more aggressive shot. And Middlesex have got problems to try and solve here.
Yeah, they certainly have. So, anyway, Ian's going to move alongside, and we are going to be joined here as Hammond plays that into the offside. Covers quite deep there. I think that's Holden. Is that Holden? Yes, it's Holden. As they pick up a single. We're going to be joined by a lady who's part of the Western Storm side this morning.
England international?
England international, 33 one-day internationals. As Price gets on the dance floor.
That's the risk-free shot, isn't it?
Yeah, just works it for 1. Sensible cricket there from the youngster. De Caires coming around the wicket. Hammond can't get that one past Eskenazi. Eskenazi looking resplendent in that wear, isn't he? The sort of the blue sun hat with the pink shirt. It's like as if he's from an 80s boy band there, isn't it?
Can he sing as well?
Very colourful. I don't know. I'll ask him after the game. Anyway, Ian's going to come and move over, and I'm delighted to be joined by a lady who has won the 100 with the Oval Invincibles before. She's played 33 one-day internationals for England, 30 T20 internationals. Fran Wilson, welcome aboard.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Good win this morning?
Yeah, such a good win. Makes the day even better, doesn't it, when you just can watch the guys in the sunshine.
We can put your feet up now,
I know, it's been such a good day actually. Credit to Gloss for an incredible day that they've put on here.
Blake Cullen then. How important is it to have the double headers for the ladies' game? You know, how important is it to sort of get the crowds and spread the word?
Yeah, I think we've seen in the 100 how good the model is, and if you do it well, you can get so much from it. So on a sunny Sunday, of course, families are going to want to come down and watch a whole day of cricket. You get real value for money. Yeah. So it's been a really good day today, and I hope we can do it more in the future.
Cullen in to Price, short, goes hooking, plays that one out to mid-wicket. And you've joined Gloucestershire in the back end of 2022. You enjoying life down here?
Yeah. So I'm originally a Somerset girl, so
Fran,
it was a bit controversial.
Fran, can you please not swear on air?
Sorry. But that was a while ago now, and moved to Bristol last year when I retired from England. And it was just kind of an obvious choice. I love how the foundation run the club and the women's stuff.
That's one out to deep mid-wicket. That was a 50 partnership as well between Price and Hammond. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
And the foundation do a great job as well. So it's great to be a part of the Gloucestershire cricket family. Yeah, I think sort of the community stuff we do at Gloucestershire here is excellent. You know, having sort of come from London and sort of only come to the club here myself last year, and it was an eye-opener for me. And I think, you know, days like today are just wonderful, aren't they, for not only Gloucestershire but for the game of cricket. Here's Cullen in, short ball,
to Price, just one over the shoulder. Now you think they're just great to grow the game?
Yeah, 100%. We've got a great sport and doing all the stuff in the community and bringing as many people as we possibly can. It's not only great for the game, but it's great in terms of the finances and getting as many people in as we possibly can. So yeah, it's brilliant, and it's great that the counties do so much for that.
Cullen. As Price just noodles that one into the onside. They're looking for 2. They're not going to take 2. There's no need to take any risks at this stage of the game. They're going comfortably along. This wicket this morning, you played on it. It's maybe pace off, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I think Gloucestershire know how to play here. Obviously, you want home advantage. Definitely into the wicket, a bit of pace off makes it really difficult. I think with the new ball, it was nice. Nice to bat on with some pace, but then, yeah, as soon as you get out of the power play, the bowlers need to take the pace off and bowl into the wicket. Is
it sticking in the wicket a little bit, not sort of coming on properly, or?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just not that much pace. So, yeah, as a batter, you love a challenge. So, produce some close games of cricket. So it's good. That's
Cullen coming around the wicket, and he strays down the leg side. So Sue Redfern signals one. Great to see Sue Redfern as well umpiring. She must have done a few games that you've done in the past.
Yeah.
And, it's great to see her making history today.
Yeah, so good. Sue's a fantastic umpire. She's done I've done so many games with her umpiring, and it's just great to see her now doing some of the men's stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, trailblazer.
We'll come on to the next question after this ball. Here's Cullen, and that's gone through for byes by the look of it. 4 of them.
It's not what you need.
Yeah, it's a naughty bounce there just before Jack Davis, and that takes the score on to 81 for 1 at the end of the 11th over. Miles Hammond on 32, Ollie Price on 31. Now, you've been part of the 100. You won the 100 with the Oval Invincibles, and now you're part of the Welsh Fire.
Yeah, I was part of the Welsh Fire last year.
Yeah. Are you still with the Welsh Fire?
I can't. I can't disclose.
You can't give us an exclusive.
I can't. Sorry. I probably would have said actually, because I'm useless with keeping secrets. But yeah, I can't disclose where I'm going. But yeah, I've obviously played in the 100 with the Oval, and then Fire last year. It's a good tournament. I'm looking forward to taking it on this year as well.
Yeah. No, I think. I mean, it's got lots of critics. But I think what it's done for the women's game, I think, has been superb. You know, I think there are a lot of people maybe perhaps on the fence. Luke Holman comes into the attack as Price goes sweeping and misses that. You know, with the men's game, I think there were a number of people on the fence perhaps, but I think for the women's game, I think it's been wonderful to grow the game.
Yeah, 100%, and I obviously totally understand, especially in the West Country where the cricket's come from.
Yeah. Holman, full toss. Price launches that one out to Max Holden at deep mid-wicket.
It's difficult not to feel a bit left out as a West Country. I'm a West Country girl, and I've been here my whole life, and it's frustrating from our point of view. But that aside, yeah, it's been fantastic for the women's game.
Here's Holman over the wicket, and Hammond pulls that one. He's found a gap there. He's going to get 2. That's well run by Ollie Price. Quick between the wickets, these two. And I think we had Danny Gibson on earlier, and you know, she spoke about, you know, when it's pace off, it's not about launching the big shots. It's about sort of, you know, turning the ones into twos into threes, etc., isn't it? And running well is Holman. That's gone up in the air, and that is the end of Miles Hammond leading edge, and Stevie Eskenazi does the rest. So Miles Hammond departs for a very well-made 34, and Gloucestershire are 84 for 2. Luke Holman probably bowling the googly there and just foxing Miles Hammond.
Yeah, things could get a little bit tricky now for Gloucestershire. I know towards the back end of our innings things did get harder, so it's going back to what you said and what Danny said earlier about hitting the space really hard. We spoke a lot about it this week. 2 is going to be really important, hitting those pockets hard and running.
Do you think, because we haven't had any rain here in Bristol for a month, having had sort of deluges in the spring, I mean, you saw what it was like, it was horrendous here back in April, and then when it hasn't rained for a month. So it's quite an abrasive surface, isn't it? Do you think sort of the ball goes soft quite quickly? Yeah,
potentially. That could definitely be the case. I feel so sorry for the ground staff here because it's just been like from one extreme to the next. Which makes it very difficult to prepare.
From the sublime to the ridiculous. Oh. Interestingly, Gloucestershire have promoted Zafar Gahar up to number 4 in the order, who's always entertaining to watch, isn't he, Zafar?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him back.
Holman to him. As he just works that one into the onside. They're going to think about a second, but now it's about working the 1s, working the 2s, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to be really smart against the spin here, especially with the variation. I think sweeping's a really good option. I think that's probably the best way to go against the leggy today. There we go.
Here is that leggy.
Nearly got out.
And nearly ran himself out as well. Nearly got out, nearly ran himself out. It's all happening here at the Seat Unique. So you played, you had one test for England against Australia.
Yep.
How big a rivalry is that, England-Australia?
Yeah, I'm so excited this season to be a fan. Obviously been very much part of the Ashes over the last 10 years, but to kind of sit back and support is going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to the Ashes game here at Bristol. I think it's going to be a fantastic battle. I'd really encourage everyone to come down and watch because you don't really want to miss it.
No, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets on the Gloucestershire website as well. So,
yep.
So definitely should be a big crowd in here.
Yeah, I think they're selling fast actually from what I've heard around the office.
Yeah, I believe so. As is the Ministry of Sound event here, 28th of July.
Yeah, I was thinking, I need to get tickets for that.
Well, Ian Randall's DJing, so
really?
he's got his disco sandals on. And
yeah, that's why I want to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Here's Tilan Walalawita in, and that's short, and that's smashed away by Zafar for 6 into the mound stand. And that certainly helps early on.
Again, shots like that where you're coming across the ball, I think is a really good option on here, especially when the spinner's getting some turn and it's not coming on really quickly like it normally would at a really good batting wicket.
As a captain, though, I mean, it's hard to set a field when a bowler drops on short like that. When he's sort of, there's a dead ball there. When the ball's just up to the bat, you can put your long on and long off deep, can't you? And you can actually set a field to that, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. As a captain, you want a bowler who you can set a field for. If someone's just dropping it short the whole time, you can hit it anywhere. So, yeah, you want to be able to set a field and trust your bowler to execute that plan.
To bowl one side of the wicket or the other, or to bowl one length or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be doing both.
Here's Tilan coming around the wicket to Zafar, who that's down the leg side. And Sue Redfern stretches her arms to signal a wide. 92 for 2, Zafar on 7, Ollie Price on 32. Short, and that's pulled. That can only find Peter Milan out at deep mid-wicket. Just a nice West Country afternoon here, crowd enjoying it. A few drinks. Price sweeps. That's out in the deep. That's Peter Milan actually, so that can't have been Peter Milan. I think that might be Max Holden over there.
It's hard to tell from here, isn't it?
It's also, yeah, the sun's in your eyes here as well. As that's just Zafar tries to work that one down the leg side. It's either that or I need to go to Specsavers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, if you're going, I'm going as well. So.
Walalawita. And that's defended.
It's actually quite interesting watching men's cricket live because obviously men are so much taller. And I'm so used to seeing like women play. I'm like, whoa, the pitch looks small. It's quite strange.
up here as well, sort of gives you a strange view of it as well, as Zaffer nurdles that one into the onside. And Holden does the fielding. So that completes the 13th over, 95 for 2. Ian Randall's going to take over. You know, you've got to do my scorebook as well. It's part of your duties here, Fran. So, we'll leave you to it, and I will leave you in the exalted company of Ian Randall.
Sing along, please. No, better not. Better not. It's a tip and run game, this, Fran, isn't it, from here? 45 to win, 42 balls left.
Yeah, they just need to control this chase. They're in the driving seat.
Luke Holman from the pavilion end. Zafar Gahar, almost an attacking change to have him at number 4. And they've still got Jack Taylor, right-hander, James Bracey, left-hander, and Grant Rolofson potentially to come. So they could still leave Rolofson to bat at 7 if there's a worry about his fitness. They've still got Bracey and Jack Taylor to come.
Yeah, there's depth here for Gloucestershire.
Holman to Ollie Price, who's tried to sweep a lot today. And that one has just spilled out on the offside, and Jack Davis comes to take. He's got 34 off 27, as you can see on your screen. It's very still when the bowler delivers the ball. There's the sweep again, pulled, but straight out to the fielder on the mid-wicket boundary, Max Holden. Now for Zafar Gahar, for the left-hander, Middlesex think he's going to go for the big shot here. I think they've got a man back at deep square, a man back at deep mid-wicket, long on and long off are both out. Holman to Zafar, who's decided to play the sensible card and just nudge it for a single on the leg side. And with the field back, you've earned the right to do that, haven't you? Yeah,
definitely. And I think especially in this situation, it is a bit about putting your ego aside. I know as a batter, you want to clear the ropes, you want to feel the ball off the middle of the bat, but actually within this situation, exactly what Zafar's doing, rotating the strike's actually a really good option.
Holman to Price, he's middled that, but again that's gone straight out to Holden again, and they'll just pick up one, but they're inching towards 100, 99 for 2, and then 140. You start just take it in tens, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would be thinking. I'll just be thinking keeping it as simple as possible.
Next ball, 1 run. Next ball, 1 run. Holman in. Zafar again. Simple single into the leg side. I know it's not riotously thrilling for the crowd, but if they can see Gloucestershire win here at 100 for 2 off 14, they want 40 off 6 overs. And
trying to do maths.
with only 2 wickets down, you have to think that the batting team is right in the box seat here. There's the Manhattan for you to look at the Middlesex innings in terms of where their wickets fell, where the runs came. There weren't really any absolutely massive overs in there. And a bit the same for Gloucester as well, although they had, I think there were 3 overs where the back-to-back boundaries and, 8s from 2 shots in an over means that there's no pressure on for the other 4 balls.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think what's noticeable is there was no real partnerships there. And we know in cricket, like, partnerships are what kill you. And Gloucestershire only losing 2 wickets here. They've got themselves in a really, really good position.
60 partnership for the second wicket between Price and Hammond. Here's Helm back into the attack, and Zafar sliced that, and it's going to drop short of the man at third man, and they will get 1. But Zafar's batting, you always think something is going to happen. You're not quite sure what it's going to be, but it's rarely dull if he's out there for any length of time. Much the same today.
Yeah, it's good to be an entertainer, isn't it? You need those players.
Helm back at the end of his run. Ollie Price has 35. That's 1 more than Fran got earlier. Tapped away into the offside. So more than tapped. He's going to get 4 for it. It's gone past the fielder at backward point. There is a man at third man, but Price has picked up 1 more, and he is potentially heading towards man of the match territory here.
I think that's the thing with cricket today on this wicket. You can tick it over quite easily, and then you'll find the boundary because it's such a quick outfield because it's so dry. It's just about not panicking. I really think that just need to keep doing the simple things.
105 for 2 in the 15th. Price ducks. And Sue Redfern says no ball.
That must be the most frustrating thing as a bowler.
So this is now a career best for Ollie Price in T20. And I'm not decrying all 34 in any way earlier on, because that's probably more runs than I ever made in my life. And at 20 of those came in 1 innings, let me tell you. So, you know, but that's the sort of knock you want. And if you're chasing a smallish target, your 30s are going to, you only want 2 or 3 of those and you're almost home. Here is Helm again to Price, clipped into the odd side. He goes into the 40s now.
Yeah, definitely. I think a 40 really puts your team in a good position if you're chasing 130, 139. I was very disappointed to get out. I think it was a silly shot, but if you can just set your team up and you've not lost too many wickets, you're putting your team in a really good position.
And Orla went on to finish it from the work that you and she had put together.
Yeah, Orla's been brilliant for us. She's a really good cricketer, a really nice person to have in the team as well.
Fran Wilson with us on commentary this afternoon. Here is Helm into Zafar Gahar, who's tickled that down the leg side, and nothing that Jack Davis can do about it. And Middlesex have lost 5 from 5, and you just wonder, when the scoreboard's against you like this, whether any thought of being able to drag this one back is trickling away as well.
I think that's another example of just real simple cricket on a quick outfield. You can catch up really, really quick. Not about doing too much. 28,
it's now less than a run a ball. So Gloucestershire absolutely in the box seat here. Helm from the Ashley Down Road end. Zafar almost played that on, but he's actually got enough on it just to steer it out on the offside. One more, and Dan Whiting's just scribbled me a note. Where is Ryan Higgins? That's a very good question. He hasn't bowled today so far. To be fair, he hasn't bowled very well in the tournament, full stop. Only 2 wickets. 2 wickets at 90. Which you'd have to say is not the greatest average in a T20 format. Helm's dropped a man out at long off now for Price. There's a massive gap on the leg side. Single anywhere he wants it. It's down the leg side again, and not given as a wide this time by Sue Redfern. But Gloucestershire have got Ollie Price well set here. He has 40. Zafar has 18 off a quick fire 12 balls, and as you can see from your screen, 27 to win, 5 overs to go. Which dressing room would you rather be in, Fran, at the moment?
Yeah, the Gloucestershire one, definitely. It's really pleased for the guys. They obviously won against Surrey, a big win the other day, and then to back this up today, if they can get over the line, it's a really, really good effort and puts them in a good position.
And do you think it was an important toss for them to win and to say, right, we'll chase?
I think so. I would much rather be chasing at here, especially in 2020, because you don't, on a wicket that isn't a road for batting, you just don't know what a good score is.
The Cares back into the attack. Zafar chops that away to point where there's enough time for them to scamper one.
I love chasing in T20 anyway. I mean, I'd like to see the stats on it, but I think you generally have an advantage chasing.
Yeah, I think particularly on your own ground where you kind of know what you think a decent score will be. I might just refer back to a former player in a moment. Here's Price. And he's whipped that from outside the off stump. It's a long chase round the fence. It's a good stop. Tom Helm, I think, down there. They've come back for 2. Now, Kim Barnett, former Gloucestershire, Derbyshire opener, obviously came to Gloucestershire later in his career, was part of the group in the early 2000s. it was said in the dressing room at the time that he could assess really well what a good score was, particularly in a white ball game. And Price will pick up another single, again out to long on. And the magic score for Gloucestershire in the time when cricket became 50 over 50 over 50 over for the white ball stuff was 210. 210 here, you're in the game. Anything more than that, Gloucestershire back themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That was what Barnett used to say. Here is De Caires, and Zaffer goes aerial straight down the ground. Is it going to drop short of the fielder? Yes, it is. It's a little sand wedge of a shot. And I think as Dan used the line earlier, when your luck is in, your luck is in. And Middlesex is definitely out with the tide at the moment. 118 for 2, 22 off 26. Somebody might have a real charge and try and finish this quickly, but Ollie Price might think, well, if I stick around here, there might be a half century on offer for me. 43.
Yeah, if he can get a little 50 not out, it would be a brilliant innings for him.
Really prove his worth, and he's been batted very sensibly here as well. One more to the total, out towards
He's had a good
mid-wicket.
season, hasn't he?
He's had a very good season. Yeah,
He's a good player.
He's finishing his finals at Durham. He's a tidy cricketer. He probably plays golf pretty well.
He's got it all.
And he's a very amiable and thoughtful individual as well. Zaffer on 20. Looks a good decision to push him up the order here. De Caires around the wicket. And Zaffer's always, the bat's twirled in his hand. He's got a mighty amount of spin on that. It's gone out into the deep on the offside. And on the cover boundary, it's returned, and they've come back for 2. So Gloucestershire ticking up very nicely here. These two came together at 84 for 2, but it's been a very, I'd say it's been a measured chase. No real histrionics. Middlesex haven't dropped, 2 or 3 catches, which they might have said would have made a difference. Gloucestershire have perhaps steamrolled is a bit harsh, but they feel like they've been in charge for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where chasing is really useful, because it means you can take those measured risks and build the partnerships that are going to win you the game, whereas Middlesex probably were like, what is a good score? Do we need to go a bit earlier? And then as a result you lose wickets, and then you don't build partnerships.
19 to win, 4 overs to get them. That's down the leg side and a tumbling stop at short fine leg, but they'll pick up one more. Yeah, it would be really nice to see Ollie Price get to a 50. I mean, Dan's been talking about Ben Charlesworth needing a first-class 100 to add to the promising scores that he's got both in red ball and white ball this year. But for Ollie to get more than a 20 or a 30, but to perhaps to really feel as if he's seen this one through, would do a huge amount for his confidence. Zaffer, though, he's pushed that high in the air now. Cracknell's underneath this, and he's clung onto it. Oh, he hasn't, he's dropped it. I thought he'd caught it. Got himself apparently well set, and it's gone straight through.
Those always look easy, but when the sky is this blue, it's very, very hard to judge depth. And I was just thinking, oh God, he's not going to catch that.
And he didn't.
He didn't.
Zaffer picked up 2 for that shot. He went up a long way to work that out into the long on region once more, and Helm is round 4-1. But Middlesex staring down the barrel of a 6th defeat in 6, and Gloucestershire would then be 3 wins and 3 losses, which feels a lot better than where they were after that defeat at Kent in the opening round.
Yeah, definitely, and momentum's everything in T20. I think just a word on Price as a young player, this is the kind of process you can go through to then get those big scores, so it is fantastic to see him playing a match-winning innings. I mean, that's what you want to do as a batter.
One more to Ollie Price. Tried to probably force that a bit squarer than he got it in the end, but just feels like the juggernaut is about to roll away down the drive here. 14 to win. Zaffer has given the innings impetus if it needed any more. Dabs a single down to third man, and Middlesex don't seem to be able to check this in any way, shape or form here. Pleasure to have you with us today, by the way. Well done on the win earlier.
Thank you. Hopefully we can get double win for the West Country today.
And your next game is when? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
A bonus point win would put us in a good position, but we're relying on other results to get to finals day. So
yeah, and you can follow that on the stream. Ed Seaborn will read the stream commentary on Wednesday. End of the over. Thank you, Fran.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And well done on the win. Best of luck for Wednesday. And Dan Whiting will be back alongside me to hopefully see Gloucestershire over the line. Thanks to Fran and to Danielle for joining us earlier today. Fran got 34 with the bat, and Danielle got 2 wickets and I think 18 with the bat when they won earlier on. But the subplot now is Ollie Price's 50, Dan, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's what a fantastic guess Fran was. Lovely, very nice. As we're going to see Tilan Walalawita into the attack. He's going to come around the wicket to Zafar, who thumps that one over the top of extra cover, and that's going to be 4 runs. Gloucestershire just needing 9 more runs now.
Has somebody told Zafar that it'd be quite nice if Ollie Price got his 50? Has somebody told him?
I don't think they think like that. I think a net run rate might come into this tournament. You know, so I don't think there's room for sentiment here, Ian. As much as I'd like to see Ollie Price get his 50, I think that's just tickled around the corner. Zafar's going to get 4 more here. That runs away. Well, Alawita was appealing there, but I think it was some bat on it. Well, that's what the umpire thought, because he's given 4 runs. And that takes the score on to 135. Gloucestershire just needing 5 now. And it's been a miserable West Country sojourn for Middlesex this weekend, hasn't it?
Another 50 partnership. So
yeah.
Middlesex didn't have the stands, did they, in their innings? Gloucestershire have had 2, and that's been the net effect of it all.
But Middlesex, disappointing result. Somerset on Friday night, and looked like another heavy defeat as Zafar just noodles that one to backward square. Luke Holman doing the fielding there.
So here's the story then. 4 to win. Ollie Price, winning boundary, 15 all out. That's it.
Fairy tales.
There we are. That's the storyline.
You've been listening to Fairy Tales by Ian Randall.
Yeah.
Jack and Ori.
That would be the nice way to finish it.
Oh, Price pulls out there. Dead ball.
The field is almost exclusively up now. 4 saving a single on the offside.
So Walalawita to Ollie Price, and he's going to get stumped. Walalawita turns one past his outside edge. Price looking to finish it in style and misses it, but that's a really good fighting 46 there, and he's going to get a warm round of applause from this Bristol crowd, and deservedly so.
He's had a great game. He's taken 2 wickets, he's taken 2 catches, neither of the 2 catches off his own bowling, and he's made 46, and he's taken Gloucestershire to within 1 hit of winning the game in the 18th over. So he quite rightly deserves a big hand, and he puts his bat up to the crowd as he walks off, and the skipper's going to come in and try and finish it.
Yeah, perishing the same way as Ben Charlesworth, stumped by Jack Davis, although Charlesworth was off the off spin of Josh DeCares, and this time off the left arm of Tilan Walalawita.
Yeah, Middlesex have not had enough runs in either the game at Somerset or the game here, have they really? 135, I think, at Taunton, and 139 here. You're going to struggle to win games with small scores like that.
Yeah, so your fairy tale didn't come true, Ian. So from Jack and Ori, we go to Jack Taylor, who's the new man at the crease.
How long will he take, I wonder?
2 slips in here. Eskenazi and Luke Holman, as Taylor cuts him out to deep cover, where Peter Milan does the fielding.
To be fair, Zaffa's not had a bad game either. I think he had a catch in the Middlesex innings, 1 wicket I think, and now, well, 35 not out's pretty handy when you're pushed up the order.
Chelan coming over the wicket to Zaffa, who plays him into the onside. They're going to be looking for 2 here. Jack Taylor's quick, he's going to come back, and he's got home. So the scores are now level, as that is the end of the 18th over. 139 for 3. Zafar Gahar is on 37. Jack Taylor on 1.
Do you think, Dan, you would use the word, would it be too harsh to use the word drubbing from a Middlesex perspective today? Does that feel a bit fierce on them?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think they're trying everything they can. I think they're just they're struggling a little bit as a side. I think losing your overseas right on the eve of the season in Keshav Maharaj has done them no favours whatsoever, and not replacing them. The thing is finances. We know that at Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire is a small county. Finances are a problem. You look at the sides at the top of the county championship and they're the big test playing counties.
Scores level, Helm to Jack Taylor, with the field exclusively up of course, and he just pushes that quietly to the cares at extra cover.
And you might think Middlesex are a test playing county, but they're only tenants at Lords. The MCC own Lords, so Middlesex haven't got the finances perhaps the other sort of big test playing counties have. They shouldn't be grouped in with Surrey or with Warwickshire or with Notts or people like that.
But you would say that playing at Lords is definitely an attraction for a player.
It is, but then you are training, you're not training at Lords or...
Helm, scores level. Jack Taylor will get the winning run here. Clipped quietly to mid-wicket. Just the job for Gloucestershire, as so many of the singles in that chase were earlier on. 2 good partnerships, 60 for the second wicket between Miles Hammond and Ollie Price before Hammond was out for 34, and then a match-winning stand really between Ollie Price and Zafar Gahar, taking Gloucestershire to within just 4 runs of victory when Price was out stumped. But off the back of a very poor start at Canterbury, Gloucestershire somehow eked out a win at Merchant Taylors, and they've gone back-to-back wins here now against Surrey and Middlesex. They've still got to play Hampshire twice. They've still got to play Somerset twice. That game here on Friday is sold out, remember. They've got to play Kent at home and Glamorgan away. I still think, Dan, if they're going to have a chance of getting into the knockout stage, they've probably got to win at least 5 of the remaining 8.
Yeah, big game here Friday night. Somerset under the lights, the side of Derby, and I can't wait. I can't wait for this. It should be a real cracker here in Bristol. Sellout crowd. The atmosphere will be bubbling here in Bristol, and it is a massive game. Somerset 5 from 5 so far, and Gloucestershire have now won 3 out of the last 4. So both sides are in reasonable form.
If you're one of the 7,000 who have a ticket, then please allow time to get here. You know what it's like on a Friday, and it's Somerset, and it'll be I think the forecast is good all week again, so there'll be plenty of people making sure they get here when the gates open at 4:30. So there's the match story of today. Middlesex 139 for 9. They didn't really get any big partnerships. That 46 from Jack Davis was eked out around the lower order. All the Gloucestershire bowlers chipping in economically. 2 wickets each for David Payne, and for Ollie Price, 2 catches for Ollie Price as well. And then the 21-year-old hitting a 46, a career best, helped out by Zafar Gahar's unbeaten 37, and a 34 from Miles Hammond, opening at the top of the order in place of Grant Roloffson. We hope that the injury he appeared to pick up while fielding today isn't serious. News of that, of course, through all the club channels through this coming week. Next action is on Friday against Somerset. Hope you can join us for that if you haven't got a ticket. Thanks to James and to Mark for their work on the cameras today. Thanks to Dan as ever for his company, and also to Danielle Gibson and to Fran Wilson who joined us on commentary. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you are. It'll be a happy evening in Gloucestershire with a 7-wicket win here over Middlesex from us all here at Bristol. See you soon. Friday, actually. Goodbye.
Terrific catch. Here we go. Unbelievable shot. Terrific catch.
Is he ready? Very well done, and he's done superbly. And it's a big shot straight away from Phillips. There we go, he might have just turned his bat on.